February. Now, according to the Reserve Bank of India data, now the outward remittances for the travel were at 1.3 billion in February, and in fact 1.65 billion in January this year.
The West Asia crisis has put the economics of electric vehicle ownership back in focus, with rising fuel price concerns nudging Indian car buyers to look beyond upfront purchase prices and assess the total cost of ownership. India has seen cumulative petrol and diesel price hikes of roughly 5 rupees per litre in May after global crude prices surged amid the West Asia conflict and disruptions in ship movement via the Strait of Hormuz.
CEAT Tires is targeting operating margins by up to 20% and a $1 billion annual revenue opportunity from its acquisition of Casmo. Now, as the RPG Group company moves to take full control of the premium off-highway tire brand from Michelin over the next 3 years, said top executives at the Mumbai-based tire maker.
The Indian benchmark indices rallied through the day on Friday to settle in the green. A balanced market breadth promising global cues on the Iran front may keep the bias positive though uncertainty still remains as per analysts. Accordingly, the immediate resistance for Nifty is placed in the 23,870, 23,900 zone, and any sustainable up move could result in Nifty extending its pullback towards 24,050, followed by 24,200 in the short term. On the flip side, the immediate support for Nifty is placed in the 23,570 to 23,550 zone, according to SBI Securities Head of Technical and Derivatives Research, Sudeep Shah.
India's clean fuel push got a new layer of consumer protection on May 24, 2026 as the Department of Consumer Affairs widened the role of government-approved test centers to include verification of petrol, diesel, CNG, LPG, LNG and hydrogen dispensers. Now, the amendment to the legal metrology, the government-approved test centers rules 2013 is being positioned as a step to improve measurement accuracy at the pump while easing the load on state departments.
All right, viewers, now it's time to slip into a short commercial break, but Nayan, we have a lot more lined up.
That's right. Coming up after a short break, there's a massive win for Twisha's family as Supreme Court takes suo motu cognizance. CJI led bench to hear the case today.
Amity University has one of India's largest merit scholarship programs for brilliant students. Over 9,000 students with 90% plus in their 12th boards are currently at Amity, benefiting from the culture of academic excellence and focus on research and innovation. To be with like-minded students who want to be successful, apply at amity.edu/scholarships.
प्योर सूजी पास्ता उबालो मिलाओ और खाओ
8 मिनट में तैयार।
क्या टेस्ट है सबका राजा आर प्योर मसाला।
Director, the taste of success.
थोड़े में ज्यादा स्वाद यही तो है इसकी खास बात। वाओ मामा क्या स्वाद है। अरे मेरे राजा
सबका राजा आर प्योर मसाला।
I want to start with some very disturbing pictures that have come in of a so-called right-wing leader. His name is Sushil Prajapati. He is accused of rape. After being in jail for 9 months, he gets bail, which means he's still an accused. He's an accused in a rape case. And the case goes back to 2025 when he took an LLB student to one place on the pretext of introducing her to a senior advocate.
has surfaced where you are talking to Harshit about the past that Twisha had. What do you have to say on
fair that you're doing like this?
That's my job, ma'am. I'm just asking you a question.
That's not my...
Why is this man absconding if he's not drunk? It's a simple question. What about the bruises on the left arm, on the left wrist? What about the bruises?
Are you doing the investigation, madam?
I am.
Within hours of Twisha's death, as per the call detail records of this terrible person called Giribala Singh, some judge who thought she's a judge, judges will get away. She made over 40 calls after the death of her daughter-in-law, many of them to judges. Why was she calling judges? When a judge who should be arrested is given anticipatory bail and the judge's son continues to abscond, and when there are so many questions about how this judge was trying to conceal facts, was caught with the dead body when her son and she were involved in the destruction of evidence, when it is proof they were a part of a constant and deliberate self-accepted system of harassment of the victim, which means this is the clearest evidence of the system being fixed.
Let's tell our viewers today is a victory. We're also looking at it as something that we were all appealing to. This is nationwide outrage that we are seeing, whether it's the callers who are calling us Rakshita or whether it is the top court of the country taking note. The Supreme Court, in its own wisdom, has taken suo moto cognizance of this case.
बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद सुप्रीम कोर्ट का, CJI साहब का बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद जिन्होंने संज्ञान लिया। और मैं थैंक्स स्टार्ट करूंगा देना पहले अपने अर्नब जी को, रिपब्लिक टीम को, जिन्होंने मेरे को बिल्कुल डूबे हुए आदमी को एकदम उठा दिया, तैरना सिखा दिया उसने, और सभी भारतवासियों का जिन्होंने सहयोग दिया हमारे इसमें सबका बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद। अब मुझे न्याय की उम्मीद बहुत बढ़ गई है।
AU करंट अकाउंट के साथ मिलता है फ्री UPI QR ओवरड्राफ्ट फैसिलिटी और एक ही ऐप से बैंक के सारे काम। AU
सोच बदलो और बैंक भी।
चमकी चाट से क्या बना है?
आलू चाट या फ्रूट चाट,
स्वाद बनाए चमकी चाट।
क्या बात है? स्वादिष्ट पकोड़े और परेशान, अरे चमकी चाट है इसकी जान।
असली स्वाद सिर्फ चमकी चाट।
कोशिश को कामयाबी को शोहरत बनते देखा है। हाँ, पिछले 60 सालों में मैंने देश को बनते देखा है। कमला पसंद, 60 सालों से अनोखा स्वाद।
आर प्योर शाही पनीर मसाला, डिलीशियस, हेल्दी every day.
In fact, very often I believe the only way to get justice in India is a media trial. So there's no reason for the media, if it's doing a good job of a media trial, to be on the back foot. In fact, the courts should stop making these overarching remarks about media trial and contemplate about one very basic thing. With the greatest of respect to the courts, when the other institutions fail, when people get let down by the system, when even the judiciary does not seem to be listening or raising a noise about issues, like in the case of Twisha Sharma, who does the public look to for justice, for raising their voice, for bringing something that's utterly false, illegal or wrong to public attention? It is only and only the media. And today, therefore, we are doing a media trial in this specific case, ladies and gentlemen, of Twisha Sharma, the 33-year-old daughter-in-law of an ex-judge, in a case where the ex-judge and the ex-judge's advocate.
From Asia's largest news headquarters, setting the agenda for Bharat. You're watching Republic.
A very good morning to you. You're watching live this morning on Republic. I'm Jongtham Amrita. I'm joined by my co-anchor,
Mr. Mitra.
And viewers, we will get you minute by minute details on the Supreme Court hearing on the Twisha death case. It's a massive win for Republic as well, and for the family. We have been demanding justice for Twisha and the circumstances surrounding her death, raising serious questions. We will get you all the details on this.
Right, of course, Amrita, a massive win as Republic's campaign now creates a tangible results on the ground. The top court now ready to intervene to look at the case on a suo motu basis. Getting you all the updates on that, but first up, a quick check at the top headlines.
Massive win for Twisha's family as Supreme Court takes suo motu cognizance. CGI-led bench to hear the case today.
After Madhya Pradesh High Court issued notice to Giribala Singh on Friday, hearing on ex-judge's bail plea scheduled for today.
A massive impact of Republic campaign as Supreme Court to hear Twisha's case, and state moves Madhya Pradesh High Court to cancel Giribala's anticipatory bail.
Government hikes fuel prices for the fourth time within 2 weeks. A diesel price up by rupees 2.71 per litre, while petrol price hiked by rupees 2.61.
Day 3 of Marco Rubio's visit to India after holding bilateral talks with External Affairs Ministers Jaishankar, and now heads to Agra.
Donald Trump reiterates support for India, calls himself a big fan of Prime Minister Modi, saying that India can count on him 100%.
Viewers, in a big change to the global energy market, crude oil prices have crashed now by 8% on a weekly basis as Donald Trump hinted at progress in the US and Iran talks. And now crude and Brent oil prices have fallen below the $100 mark on the deal as hopes continue to rise on negotiations making a breakthrough between the US and Iran. So this is the latest we're getting as of today on the Monday morning, as Brent crude prices have now crashed below the $100 mark per barrel.
All right, viewers, we're looking at a stabilization, in fact, of crude and Brent prices. It's now somewhere below the $100 mark, which in fact has stayed above $110 mark throughout this war period. Now, nearly 3 months into the war, we are certainly looking at stabilization of oil prices. On this, my colleague Pranav now joins me with more details. Pranav, we are looking at a stabilization of oil prices, Brent and crude both now below $100 mark. How do you read this?
Well, it's too early to say whether it is going to be a stabilization of oil prices, because we've seen several weekends wherein Donald Trump has, tweeted out or posted out something, and then the oil prices as well as global markets have, reacted to that in a sharp manner. Whether this one also turns out to be that similar weekend, because once he said that the negotiations are going on track, and then just about a few minutes ago he has posted out a photograph of a missile under an aircraft. So, he's giving out mixed signals, so it is too early to say that. But yes, as of now, oil prices are down. Brent and crude are both trading below $100 marks. And as a result of that, in fact, we are seeing global markets reacting to that. So yes, we need to wait and see as to how markets react today as they open on a Monday over a weekend filled with lots of developments regarding or announcements regarding the Iran war.
Right. And also, Pranav, can you shed more light into the fuel price hike back in India as crude oil prices around the world has now fallen down? Will that make see some effect in the Indian market as well? Because just today, the oil prices for petrol and diesel have again risen by 2 rupees for both diesel and petrol per litre.
Well, absolutely. In fact, this is the fourth rise within just about 2 weeks that we are seeing. So finally, yes, oil prices or the pressure on global oil prices is coming to hit India, hit Indian consumer. And we are seeing that the price hike has already taken place. That is point number one. Point number two is that the government, in fact, last week clarified that this was primarily to ease the tension or ease the margin pressure on the oil marketing companies, the OMCs, because they are buying oil at a higher price from the international market, but they were selling it at the same old prices. So now finally, the price hike has taken place. So on one side, it eases the margin pressures on OMCs, but on the other side, it is going to put some pressure on the pockets of common man. So that is the balance that we are seeing playing out. As far as the markets are concerned, yes, markets are reacting sharply. As of now, as we speak, Gift Nifty, which is the Nifty future at Gift City, is trading about 250 points higher, which signals that the Indian markets are also poised for a higher start on this Monday morning.
Right, of course, Pranav, do continue to stay with us. We're also getting some fresh developments as to how Asian markets are now reacting to this Donald Trump's announcement. Now, in fact, Japan's Nikkei has touched a historic high, while Indian markets are also expected to open higher this morning. In fact, they could be up by 250 points. Now, focus is on oil marketing companies as petrol and fuel prices are hiked for the fourth time in India. Now, certainly, the Indian markets are reacting to what's happening across globally, whether it's energy prices, Brent and crude falling below $100 mark, or whether it's Donald Trump's announcement. It is all linked up. So, Pranav, coming back to you now, what could we expect as Brent and crude fall below the $100 mark? Asian markets are now reacting positively. So, as far as Indian markets are concerned, what could we expect this morning?
Well, yes, we are looking at the Indian markets witnessing a higher open as they open at 9:15 a.m. shortly from now. As of now, the futures are, that is the Gift Nifty futures are hinting that the Indian markets will open higher. They're already trading 250 points higher. That's about 1% higher. So yes, Japan's Nikkei, as you rightly said, touched a historic high of 65,000. That's about 2% higher opening. The other Asian markets, Hong Kong market is in fact closed right now, but we are expecting that the other Asian markets, the European markets, as well as the US markets will open higher. One, on the hints that the US-Iran talks are going online or on track for a peace deal, and most importantly, Strait of Hormuz opening and the oil prices dropping. So two bits of positive pieces of information, so to say, which has lifted the sentiment on across markets, and we are expecting that the Indian markets will also follow the suit and open gap up at 9:15 a.m.
And also, Pranav, let us remind our viewers also, the Prime Minister have in fact put into effect some fuel conservation measures earlier. And this is in regards to the crunch in the energy security that we are suffering globally as well. So can we see some easing into that in the coming weeks or months, according to you?
Well, if you remember, the government had always said that the intention behind these hikes was never to put a pressure on, the common consumer. But the fact is that the oil marketing companies, which have been buying oil from the international market at a higher price, have been selling it at the same old prices for the past about few months. They have been under tremendous margin pressure. So what the government as well as the ministry during its regular briefings has maintained is that the intention behind these hikes is to absorb the shocks that have been triggered by a developing or an evolving situation in the Middle East or West Asia. Whether government rolls that hike back, we need to wait and see as to whether the ongoing conflict in West Asia continues. If there is a peace deal announced, it wouldn't be wrong to hope that the prices could be reversed, but it is too early to say that right now because the situation in West Asia continues to be volatile.
Right, Pranav, do continue to stay with us because we have another developing story and we would like your insight as well. And this is regarding the fourth hike in the fuel price hike in the last 2 weeks, as diesel prices have now increased by 2.71 rupees per litre, and petrol by 2.61 rupees per litre in Delhi, and now stands at 95.20 per litre for diesel, and for petrol it now stands at 102.12 per litre. So Pranav, we would like some inputs from you as well, because most of the major cities are seeing such changes now. Petrol prices have hiked now over 100 rupees in Delhi alone, and also the highest being seen in Kolkata. Even in Hyderabad, we're seeing it crossing above 110 mark as well. So the major question with many hikes that are coming in the past these few days, and this is the fourth hike as you mentioned earlier, and now the people are being affected. Not just that, because delivery agents earlier said they would not be making deliveries, and even cab services. These are some of the impacts, the direct impacts that we are seeing. So what the major question is, when can we see this easing up into the earlier normal?
All right. In fact, as Amrita also mentioned, coming across to you, Pranav, on this. Now, this is the fourth hike that has come in about last 2 weeks. Now, so far, due to the energy shocks that world over countries have been witnessing, the government of India has been trying to absorb shocks. Do you think it is the last hike that we're seeing as of sort, or will there be more hikes to come in the coming few weeks?
Well, that is too early to predict, because just about last week the government increased the prices. That was the third hike, and now we're seeing on a Monday morning the fourth hike. So it is too early to project or predict whether this is going to be the last hike, because the situation in West Asia continues to be volatile. As far as the impacts are concerned, one is of course the direct impact which we are seeing on fuel prices at petrol pumps, but the second is also the fact that petrol, by virtue of being the input cost for a lot of or the raw material for a lot of products, is also likely to add to inflation. Remember, the RBI has a stipulated limit of 2 to 4%. It maintains the inflation between 2 to 4%, and over the past several MPCs, the RBI has resisted from the temptation of increasing the repo rates. We need to actually now wait and see as to what the RBI does, because hike in petrol prices is certainly going to or likely to impact the inflation and the inflation target of the RBI. So we need to actually wait and see, because the first impact is cars and bikes and the delivery agents, as you rightly mentioned. Right. But the second is also the consumer, and we need to wait and see how these prices now play up in terms of FMCG costs and inflation costs, and what the RBI does towards that. So two-way: one, the government's decisions on fuel price hike, and second, how the monetary policy maneuvers through these pressures that are now starting to translate on ground.
Right, of course, Pranav, we'll have to see how these inflationary pressures are handled by the government of the day. And of course, lots to decode here, whether it's a Brent and crude falling below 100% fuel hike, or in fact, the fact that markets are now reacting positively to what Donald Trump has said on the Iran war. Thanks so much for joining us.
Right, and with that, let us take a look at this report filed by my colleague Goswami from Jammu with regards to the recent price hike in most petrol and diesel price hike. Take a look.
For the fourth time in last 10 days, the fuel prices have hiked across the country, and the hit has also come to the consumers in Jammu and Kashmir. Here the fuel prices have surpassed the 100 marks for the petrol. Petrol is now being sold at 104 rupees and 30 paisa with a hike of 2 rupees and 71 paisa. And if we speak of the diesel, the situation of the diesel is that the per litre diesel is 92 rupees and 81 paisa. That has seen a spike of 2 rupees and 69 paisa. What the consumers have to say, we'll try to speak to them that what the hit they have taken. Sir, जब घर से आए थे पता था कि जो फ्यूल का प्राइस हाइक हुआ है?
नहीं, हमें नहीं पता था।
2 रुपये 71 पैसे बढ़ा है, दिक्कत होती है आम आदमी को?
हाँ, होती तो है, फर्क तो पड़ेगा ही ना, पर क्या करें, पीछे से बाहर के कारण और उसी के कारण हो रहा है ये।
So the people are also understanding that what the situation is. We'll try to speak to some more people also. सर, आप मुझे बताइए, परेशानी होती है इतना फ्यूल बढ़ेगा तो?
हाँ बिल्कुल, परेशानी तो है ही है, रेट का कम होना चाहिए।
अभी किस तरह से गुजारा हो रहा है?
बहुत मुश्किल है, 200 रुपये 100 रुपया लीटर ऊपर हो गया, मुश्किल ही है बहुत।
सर, आपसे जानना चाहूँगा, ये तो फ्यूल भी ज़्यादा खाता है, आपको ज़्यादा दिक्कत होती है?
क्या करें सर, मजबूरी में करना पड़ता है।
ये तो इसकी तो एवरेज भी कम होगी ना, बाकियों की
एवरेज भी कम है सर।
आप पे दोहरी मार है?
दोहरी मारा सर।
So that is what the people are saying.
इसको सेल करके ये भी लेंगे अब।
that is also what the people are considering, that these bikes, the high-end bikes, 350cc and above, the person even said that we will sail this down and get some EV so that they can get some relief from the fuel prices that are continuously hiking. But one thing is very important, that the people have understood that this is due to the global price hike, and they are saying that though we are suffering, but what can we do when this is a global price hike?
Well, that was the ground report filed from Jammu, and also some of the reactions from the consumers and how the price hikes are impacting their lives. And with that, let's move on to another focus story. After the massive national outrage over the handling of the Twisha Sharma's death case, led by Republic's relentless pursuit for justice, the Supreme Court will hear the case today. A bench led by the Chief Justice of India will hear the case today after taking suo motu cognizance of the case. The Supreme Court has in fact registered a case under the alleged institutional bias and procedural discrepancies in the unnatural death of a young woman at matrimonial home. So this case will be taken up today at around 10:30 a.m., a tentative time given by the Supreme Court. And this is after a massive Republic campaign and a major win for the family, as well as the case will now be taken up by the top court led by the Chief Justice of India himself.
All right, now joining us on the broadcast is Anurag Srivastav. Twisha is a family lawyer. Thank you, Mr. Anurag, for joining us on Republic TV. Sir, I want to ask you, as Republic's campaign also gains momentum, we are seeming to be inching closer to achieving justice in this case. Today, as the top court of the country now takes up this case on a suo motu basis, what can we expect?
The important thing is that neither the Twisha's family nor the state has approached the Honorable Supreme Court, and it is a suo motu action which has been taken by the Honorable Supreme Court. Honorable Supreme Court must have observed some peculiar things regarding this case which are going on the last 10-12 days, and especially the issues raised by Republic TV and the continuous coverage of the procedural lapses and involvement of what we have got the call records of which indicate Giribala calling several officials and judges. So all these things might have been observed by the Honorable Supreme Court, and that's why they have taken up the matter as a suo motu matter. And let's hope that Twisha will not now get justice.
Right, and also Mr. Srivastav, we would like to know from you, this has been listed as an alleged institutional bias and procedural lapses. So these are some of the questions that Republic has asked. The family of Twisha, the father, parents have also raised again and again that there are many lapses in not just a post-mortem report, but also many serious questions regarding her crime scene as now is being stated, the place of hanging where it happened, the evidence lost and not being filed properly. So these are some of the lapses that we're seeing. So will the Supreme Court be taking that into the focus when they are hearing the case today?
Of course, I think there are many issues which must have been observed by the honorable judges because we don't know it has been taken up as a suo motu matter. So definitely they have been observing the case minutely, and there are we know that right from the day one when the FIR was not registered on 12th night itself, and from then till whatever happened in the district court Jabalpur when he was hiding in a courtroom, all these things must have been observed by the Honorable Supreme Court, and we hope that a certain definitive action would be taken. And because today is the first hearing, so we don't exactly know what will happen in the court, but the thing has just initiated. And whatever help is required, whatever Supreme Court asks the parties to submit before them, or if they may call a status report as it happens. So let us just wait and see what happens in the Supreme Court today. And we are much hopeful now that all the things which Republic has been raising, with Twisha's family has been raising, would be heard now.
Right, so of course Republic will continue to monitor all the developments we get in from today and hoping that justice will be delivered in this case. Thank you so much for joining us and giving us a lowdown on what we're expecting from the hearing today.
That's right. And with that, we'll move on to another story. The President of India, Draupadi Murmu, will be conferring the Padma Shri, India's fourth highest civilian honor, to renowned Sanskrit scholar and academician Professor Vempati Kutumbu Shastri for his distinguished contributions to literature and education. He served as the first Vice-Chancellor of the Rashtriya Sanskrit Sansthan in New Delhi and also held the position of Chancellor at the Sri Chandrasekharendra Saraswati Vishwa Mahavidyalaya in Kanchipuram. He acts as the president of the International Association of Sanskrit Studies, working tirelessly to preserve and promote India's ancient knowledge and spiritual heritage. Take a look at this report that honors his contributions in this field. This will be another Padma Shri that will be presented by the President of India to India's fourth highest civilian honor, and will be presented to Sanskrit scholar and academician Professor Vempati Kutumbu Shastri for his distinguished contributions to literature and education as well. He earlier served as the first Vice Chancellor of the Rashtriya Sanskrit Sansthan, which is in New Delhi, and he also held the position of Chancellor as well. And his lifelong work towards preservation of Sanskrit and promoting education is one that has been noted by the President and will be honored in the fourth highest civilian honor. And a Padma Shri will be conferred to him as well. And along with him, many others notable people who have contributed lifelong work, and in honoring of their legacy, the Padma Shri will be presented to them by the President of India. And for this, the Sanskrit scholar and academician Professor Vempati Kutumbu Shastri, and for his lifelong work and his continued contribution to literature and Sanskrit education.
The guardian of our ancient wisdom, Professor Vempati Kutumbu Shastri, recipient of the Padma Shri 2026. His remarkable journey as one of India's foremost Sanskrit scholars and administrators began on these very holy hills. It started with a 10-year-old mastering the Vedas at the prestigious Tirumala Tirupati Devasthanam Veda Pathshala.
Learning Sanskrit wasn't my choice. I was just a young boy following my father's wish. But I fell in love with the language very quickly, and building my life around it, that was purely my choice.
Born in 1950 in Gudlavalleru in a family of 10, the money might have been scarce, but values were abundant.
My mother would always sing religious and devotional songs, even while doing her chores. And my father was very particular that we followed our traditions.
As a teenager, unable to afford footwear, he walked to school barefoot, even in the harshest of summers. But no hardship could slow his pursuit of excellence.
My gurus guided me at every step. When I wanted to search for a job, the legendary Kanchi Paramacharya Sri Sri Chandrasekharendra Saraswati Maharaj told me, "No, you must pursue Sanskrit further."
After completing his PhD, he began as an educator, but his greatest impact would come as an administrator. As director of Rashtriya Sanskrit Sansthan, he worked hard to secure deemed university status for what is now known as the Central Sanskrit University, Delhi. And as Vice-Chancellor of Somnath Sanskrit University, Gujarat, he secured crucial funding to modernize its infrastructure. Professor Shastri also served 2 consecutive terms as the president of International Association of Sanskrit Studies, overseeing 4 World Sanskrit Conferences in Asia and North America. His relentless work to make Sanskrit more accessible has inspired newer generations to fall in love with the ancient language. At 75, he shows no signs of slowing down. He currently serves as Chancellor of Sri Chandrasekharendra Saraswati Vishwa Mahavidyalaya.
Don't study for the sake of securing a job. If you want to excel, study for the love of the subject. Be it Sanskrit or any subject you choose, Enjoy the learning process and you will surely succeed.
Professor Vempati Kutumba Shastri, Padma Shri 2026.
Amity University has one of India's largest merit scholarship programs for brilliant students. Over 9,000 students with 90% plus in their 12th boards are currently at Amity, benefiting from the culture of academic excellence and focus on research and innovation. To be with like-minded students who want to be successful, apply at amity.edu/scholarships.
प्योर सूजी पास्ता उबालो मिलाओ और खाओ
8 मिनट में तैयार।
क्या टेस्ट है सबका राजा हार्डकोर मसाला केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ रे दिल झूमे देखो मतवारा हुआ रे केसरिया से मन जोगी
हर पल मनाओ केसरी त्योहार। विमल बोलो जुबान केसरी।
चमकी चाट से क्या बना है
सैंडविच लस्सी और छाछ
हर घूंट में चमकी चाट अब बताओ स्वाद आया
असली स्वाद सिर्फ चमकी चाट।
I want to start with some very disturbing pictures that have come in of a so-called right-wing leader. His name is Sushil Prajapati. He's accused of rape. After being in jail for 9 months, he gets bail, which means he's still an accused. He's an accused in a rape case. And the case goes back to 2025 when he took an LLB student to one place on the pretext of introducing her to a senior advocate. He drugged her drink and then he sexually assaulted her. He is still under trial for rape. He has not been released. But when he comes out, this rape accused, garlands are put on him as if he's some kind of a hero, as if he's achieved something great. Is a rapist to be celebrated, ladies and gentlemen? I ask you that question. And more than anyone else, I ask the right way.
हमारे पास चैट्स का प्रूफ है जो हमने सबमिट किया था कोर्ट में। व्हाट्सएप चैट है जो हमने निकाली थी, में क्लियर कट कंडक्ट दिख रहा है, खराब कंडक्ट दिख रहा है। मैं अपनी बहन को लिखा है आई एम ट्रैप्ड।
How is this a logical question to ask? Why is it illogical? Somebody is a past and who's wanting desire for getting a job. Exactly. So you are exactly saying this कि भाई तुम्हारा past है इसलिए we are gauging you based on your past. You are bringing your past again. And how can you expect someone to actually not do it?
Why is CPR given on the staircase in clear view of the CCTV rather than at the scene of the accident? If she has died or committed suicide, I mean, then you give her CPR there. You don't bring her body down in a way so that it can be captured on CCTV. Show that you are giving CPR unless some mastermind has planned this. The mother-in-law, the ex-judge, walks up calmly while the body is being dragged down and evidence is being destroyed before the judge's eye.
प्लीज नोट मैडम, हम जा रहे हैं लेकिन आप इस तरह से माइक पे हाथ नहीं मार सकते। नहीं मार।
Some people using their knowledge, position and power over the legal and prosecution system to torture you. जब आपकी आवाज रिपब्लिक और दूसरे मीडिया में आएगी तभी इनकी आंखें खुलेंगी।
थोड़े में ज्यादा स्वाद यही तो है इसकी खास बात। वाओ मामा क्या स्वाद है। अरे मेरे राजा
रानी इस घर में कुछ है जो टूटता नहीं।
ये पिलर कभी नहीं टूटेगा। रुंगटा स्टील TMT से बना।
रुंगटा नहीं तो घर स्ट्रॉन्ग नहीं। रुंगटा स्टील TMT बार एकदम सॉलिड।
चमकी चाट से क्या बना है
सैंडविच लस्सी और छाछ
हर घूंट में चमकी चाट ड्राई फ्रूट और दही बड़े चमकी चाट से स्वाद बढ़े।
असली स्वाद सिर्फ चमकी चाट।
In fact, very often I believe the only way to get justice in India is a media trial. So there's no reason for the media, if it's doing a good job of a media trial, to be on the back foot. In fact, the courts should stop making these overarching remarks about media trial and contemplate about one very basic thing. With the greatest of respect to the courts, when the other institutions fail, when people get let down by the system, when even the judiciary does not seem to be listening or raising a noise about issues, like in the case of Twisha Sharma, who does the public look to for justice, for raising their voice, for bringing something that's utterly false, illegal or wrong to public attention? It is only and only the media. And today, therefore, we are doing a media trial in this specific case, ladies and gentlemen, of Twisha Sharma, the 33-year-old daughter-in-law of an ex-judge, in a case where the ex-judge and the ex-judge's advocate's son appear to be more than involved. Ladies and gentlemen, 15 questions tonight. And if they think it's a media trial, so be it. So be it. Why did the ex-judge in the case of Twisha Sharma, neither she nor her son call a police or an ambulance? What took them 57 minutes to bring the body down? Where are the 3 men who are seen in the video?
Hello and a very warm welcome, viewers. You're watching live this morning on Republic TV with me, Ishita Mitra, and my colleague.
I'm Chongtham Amrita. Very good morning to you.
And now, viewers, today is a big day for Republic's campaign, Justice for Twisha, as the top court now will be taking up this issue on a suo motu basis.
And not just that, the Chief Justice of India-led 3-judge bench will be hearing the case and asking questions that has been raised by Republic in a campaign that has been intensified in demanding justice for Twisha. We'll get you all the details, but first take a look at the headlines. Massive win for Twisha's family as Supreme Court takes suo motu cognizance. Chief Justice of India-led bench to hear the case today.
After Madhya Pradesh High Court issued notice to Giribala Singh on Friday, hearing on ex-judge's bail scheduled for today.
A massive impact of Republic campaign as Supreme Court to hear Twisha's case, and state moves Madhya Pradesh High Court to cancel Giribala's anticipatory bail.
Government hiked fuel prices for the 4th time within 2 weeks. Now diesel price up by 2.71 per litre, while petrol price hiked by rupees 2.61.
Day 3 of Marco Rubio's visit to India. After holding bilateral talks with External Affairs Minister Jaishankar, he now heads to Agra.
Donald Trump reiterates support for India, calls himself a big fan of Prime Minister Modi while saying India can count on him 100%. Welcome, viewers. Our top focus at this hour. Now, after massive national outrage and Republic's campaign over the way Twisha Sharma's death case has been handled by the investigative agencies led by Republic's relentless pursuit for justice, the Supreme Court will hear the case today. Now, bench led by the Chief Justice of India will be hearing the case today after taking suo motu cognizance of the entire case. Now, the Supreme Court, in fact, has registered the case under alleged institutional bias and procedural discrepancies in the unnatural death of a young woman at matrimonial home. Now, this matter is slated to be heard today by a bench led by the Chief Justice of India, Justice Surikant, comprising other justices including Joymala Bagchi and Vipul M. Pancholi. Now, meanwhile, Madhya Pradesh High Court has also issued a notice to former Judge Giribala Singh, the mother-in-law and the accused in this case. There will be a hearing on Giribala Singh's bail at about 2:30 p.m. All right, my colleague Shambhavi, who's been very closely tracking all the developments from ground, now joins us. Shambhavi, do take us. What can we expect today from the Supreme Court as we inch closer now to achieving justice in the case? Now, today, the top court will in fact take suo motu cognizance of the entire case.
Definitely. Just a couple of days ago, we got a huge win when the Supreme Court took suo motu cognizance of the Twisha Sharma's death case. And this bench, which will comprise of Justice Surikant, Justice Bagchi and Justice Pancholi, will be hearing the matter today. Since it is the first day, they will be first assessing all the documents that we submitted by both the parties, especially by the Twisha Sharma's family and the legal team. There will be a lot of assessment, and then we'll see where this hearing goes, what direction does it take. And it is not just this. There's a parallel hearing which will be going on in the Madhya Pradesh High Court, in the Jabalpur High Court, where the High Court will be hearing the matter of cancellation of anticipatory bail of former Judge Giribala Singh. Just 3 days ago, a notice was issued to Giribala Singh in this matter, and today she is expected to file her reply. A notice is when you ask the party to come and participate in the hearings, and they'll see that what decision or what turn does that take case in. So it is going to be a huge day in terms of the legal aspects of the Twisha Sharma case. Just yesterday, Twisha Sharma's mortal remains were put to rest, and the ask for second post-mortem was taken care of. There was a second post-mortem conducted which went on for around 4 hours at stretch, and there's a legal team, there's an AIMS forensic team also reached Giribala Singh's house to make sure to collect all the forensic evidences to see match the markings of which were found in Twisha Sharma's neck with what they claim as was the instrument of her alleged hanging, and the other details, the forensic details of the spot. SIT is also supposed to visit Giribala Singh's house to recreate the crime scene. So we know that everything, be it investigation, be it the legal angle, be it the case, everything is starting from scratch. Everything is starting afresh. This time we expect that things are going to be fair, things are going to be transparent and more independent than what it was the previous time. Back to you.
That's right, Sambhavi. Many things going down today, including the Madhya Pradesh High Court seeking to, the hearing for the anticipatory bail cancellation for the Giribala, for the mother-in-law, and also the SIT to be recreating the case when the night when Twisha died also. And my question is that, Sambhavi, we know that the family got the body of the daughter after the post-mortem. They have conducted the last rites, although the full closure for the family will only be received after the Supreme Court passes the judgment or their verdict or an order regarding the matter as well. And, we'll wait and watch. But also, Sambhavi, I'd like to know, regarding the recreating of the scene at SIT at a place in Samarth, will he be present there? We know that he is in custody for now. Do you have any details?
Well, Amrita, Samarth had already been brought to his house once before to recreate the scene that was with the police, and that was already done. And Samarth had already been brought. He is presently in the custodial, going through custodial interrogation. Just 2 days ago, the trial court had sent him with a 7-day remand, on a 7-day remand. The police asked for a 7-day police custody so that they can be interrogated. He can be interrogated about his whereabouts, because just so we remind our viewers that Samarth Singh, the accused husband in the case, has been absconding since the day of Twisha's death, and he only surrendered, and that too he tried to pull a stunt. He tried to pull a legal loophole while surrendering before the Jabalpur trial court, instead of surrendering here in Bhopal before the trial court or before the investigating officer, as was asked by the Madhya Pradesh High Court. So even then he tried to pull a stunt, but was successfully arrested by the Bhopal police there and was brought back here, then produced before the court, it was taken for a medical test, was produced before the court, and was then sent on a 7-day police remand. Amrita.
Right, we also, our colleague Sarthak now joins us from outside the Supreme Court. Now, Sarthak, when Supreme Court took this case on a suo motu basis, it alleged that there were procedural lapses and institutional bias in this case, something what Republic has also been saying for the past 13 days. So in the light of those concerns raised by the top court itself, what can we expect from today's hearing?
Well, absolutely, Ishita. When the family of the victim demanded a second post-mortem, one of the things that they had asked for is Supreme Court to intervene and monitor the second post-mortem. That was one thing that was constantly pressed by the victims, Twisha Sharma's family in this case. Supreme Court has certainly observed that there have been some discrepancies in the case. There have been some lapses in the way the investigation has been conducted. There are some pertinent questions that need to be answered. Firstly, why on May 12 the FIR wasn't lodged? Why did it take them 3-4 days to file an FIR? Second, why wasn't the CCTV footage clearly monitored? Why wasn't it followed? Why were there lapses in the post-mortem report? They alleged that there was some belt used in committing the suicide. Why wasn't that belt produced for the post-mortem? Why was Samar Singh absconding for so many days if he was so innocent? Why was he absconding for 10 days? Lastly, when the Jabalpur High Court asked him to surrender, he had filed an anticipatory bail in the Jabalpur High Court. When the Jabalpur High Court denied him that anticipatory bail and later he had to withdraw that anticipatory bail, he was asked to surrender either before the IO or before the District Court in Bhopal. He tried surrendering in the Jabalpur District Court. Why was he doing that? And later he was taken into custody and he was moved to the Bhopal District Court for which the hearing will take place today. So these are some pertinent questions that need to be answered. And on that note, Supreme Court has taken cognizance of the case that certainly there are certain lapses, certain discrepancies in the way the entire matter has been handled so far. Also, the family is demanding a CBI probe into this. CBI will be investigating the case. Maybe Supreme Court will be monitoring that directly, asking for periodic reports on how the investigation is being conducted. So these are certain things that CBI might be taking cognizance of, might be taking into consideration while listening to the arguments today. Republic has been at the forefront of tracking this case. We have campaigned for this particular matter since day one, and this is a clear Republic impact story that finally Supreme Court had to intervene and take cognizance of the case. What will happen in the Supreme Court, we are constantly tracking. We are hoping that Supreme Court will take some strict decisions and will try to further the investigation in this case.
Right. Samarth, do stay with us, and also Sambhavi, do stay with us. We now have Harsh also right outside the Jabalpur High Court, where the anticipatory bail plea cancellation will be heard today against Giribala Singh. And Harsh, coming to you now, we will be hearing more details on the anticipatory bail cancellation, and this again, the Jabalpur High Court will be hearing the matter. Can you give us more details into that?
Right now, this is the big day. Two big hearings at two different places in India. One is at the Supreme Court, obviously, and the other one is at the Jabalpur High Court here in Madhya Pradesh, where a single judge bench will be hearing the cancellation petition of the anticipatory bail, in fact, that was given to Giribala Singh by a sessions court in Bhopal. Now, this matter will be heard at 2:30 p.m. today, which is later in the day today. And in fact, Solicitor General Tushar Mehta, along with Senior Advocate and Advocate General of the Government of Madhya Pradesh, Prashant Singh, will be joining him to represent the Government of Madhya Pradesh on this matter. Now, Solicitor General joined by Advocate General Prashant Singh, who also spoke to Republic earlier this week, clearly mentioned that they will be now demanding the cancellation of the anticipatory bail that has been given to Giribala Singh by a sessions court in Bhopal. And that is exactly what we are eyeing on here. It is also expected, there are some sources, there are some speculations that Giribala Singh might also appear in the court today. She might also contest her own case. However, there is no confirmation in this regard. More has to be fetched in this regard, but this is some source-based information that Giribala Singh, the second accused in the case, the retired judge and the mother-in-law of Twisha Sharma, might herself appear at the Jabalpur High Court today to contest her own court, where the Government of Madhya Pradesh, in fact, will be demanding the cancellation of the anticipatory bail that has been given to her by the trial court in Bhopal.
Right, of course, Harsh, Republic continues its fight, continues its campaign calling for justice for Twisha, and our colleagues, whether it's Harsh, Shambhavi or Sarthak, are present across the country tracking all the developments. Now, Shambhavi, coming to you on this, you have been, very close to the family. You've been engaging with them, talking to them. What is family expecting today? Because, from day one, they have been calling for a fair investigation, for a transparent probe in this case.
Well, for starters, the family is very grateful. That is, it becomes my duty to bring that across. Is extremely, extremely grateful for the Supreme Court taking a suo motu cognizance in this matter and is hoping for a fair, transparent, and independent trial. And that has been their demand since the first day, even before the postmortem, the first postmortem was conducted. This has been their demand, that they want a fair trial, an independent, transparent trial, where they are taken in loop, where they're not mistreated by the police, by the goons who are also claiming to be advocates in whether it's in the Jabalpur High Court, whether it's being treated badly by the police in Bhopal, whether it's not registering the FIR for the longest time, whether it's also intimidating them that take your daughter's body back, or we will not register your FIR, or we will not hand over the body. Such intimidating things were said to the family. At every step they have suffered. Each and every step this family has suffered and has was caught in the system by some way or another. So this time now that the Supreme Court, the apex court, the topmost court of the country has taken cognizance, has taken matters in their own hand. We didn't even have to file for it. We were any which ways. There's legal team, dedicated legal team, accompanied with the Republic's assistance. We were planning on filing an application in the Supreme Court. But before that, even before that, the Supreme Court took suo motu cognizance of the matter. So now the family just hopes for a fair, transparent and independent trial where their daughter, their dead daughter, unfortunately, the daughter that they've put to rest just yesterday, gets justice. Back to you.
That's right, Sambhavi. Do stay with us. I'll just quickly cut across to Sarthak again, right outside the Supreme Court. Sarthak, the particular case that we're dealing with is not just about demanding for Twisha. There are many Twishas across the country, many Twishas who are suffering behind domestic violence, behind dowry death. And also with this particular matter, an ex-judge, the mother-in-law, who has been, as we all know it, she made frantic calls after the death, to 46 calls made to, again, senior judges as well. So this is making a lot of things into perspective now. An ex-judge who knows the law, how it works, and also another daughter, someone's daughter, in a matrimonial home. She is dying alone and without no one's help. And now the Supreme Court has taken such a step. So this is an answer to many women and many families who have faced similar issues as well. Isn't that right, Sarthak?
Well, you're absolutely right, Amrita. This case seems to be unprecedented. This was unheard of, where a retired judge, a judge who is supposed to protect the rights of the citizen, her son was a criminal lawyer. So there were people who were well aware of the legal system, how the legal system functions, how the law is. They were well aware of that. This was unheard of, that they're getting involved in a case like this. This is a case of dowry, and this is not the first time it has happened. It's been happening in our country for years and for decades. And this case has come to the limelight because Republic campaigned for it. It was unprecedented that a retired judge is herself getting involved in a criminal activity. This was unheard of, clearly unheard of. If it wasn't for Republic to campaign for this, this would have never come in the limelight. This would have never come in the forefront. People would have never heard of it. And there are a lot of women out there who are suffering in the same fashion. This has to be heard, and that is the main reason why Supreme Court has personally taken cognizance of this case. It will set a precedent. It will set an example for all the cases that are likely to happen in the future. This certainly set an example for the investigating agencies. This is certainly set an example for people who are also part of the judicial system. They cannot get away by doing anything just because they hold a powerful position in judiciary. This will set an example for that as well. It's really important. It was very important that Supreme Court takes cognizance of this, and finally Supreme Court has taken a suo motu cognizance of the case. Supreme Court will be hearing the matter around 10:30, 11 in the morning, and now Supreme Court might personally monitor the entire case. If it wasn't for Republic to bring it out and to campaign for this, we have been campaigning for this for the past 15 days, and finally Supreme Court has taken cognizance of this. Supreme Court has realized that this has to be investigated, this has to be monitored personally, and now the matters have become serious. There are two other cases pending in the Jabalpur, in the Jabalpur High Court today, where my colleague Harsh is constantly tracking the case. There is an anticipatory bail cancellation plea pending before the Jabalpur High Court. There is the post-mortem report case where it has to be submitted before the Jabalpur High Court. What has happened in the Jabalpur, what has happened in the second post-mortem. So these are some important developments happening in this case, but the most important of them all is that Supreme Court has finally taken cognizance of the case, and what will happen in the arguments today, this is something that we are constantly tracking. Amrita.
Right, in fact, Sarthak, we agree with you, that it is high time that an example is set, a precedent is set for all the cases, for all the Twishas who continue to suffer in the dark across the country. Now, in fact, coming to you, Harsh, now we're expecting today for the High Court to hear the bail plea for Girbala Singh. Now, there are multiple grounds for the cancellation of the bail plea. She has not been complying with the investigation. About 3 notices were issued by the police to her, and there are allegations that she could have also tampered with a crime scene while she made some frantic calls to several judges, politicians, and people of influence to impact the investigation. So, what are we expecting in the light of these allegations which have been raised against Girbala?
Right, Amrita, now it is very important for our viewers to understand that the government of Madhya Pradesh has been very strict in this matter, especially after Republic started campaigning about this. They have fielded 2 of the country's topmost lawyers, including the Solicitor General Tushar Mehta himself, who will also be joined by the Advocate General Prashant Singh. Both of these lawyers today will be appearing before the High Court of Jabalpur, and they'll be demanding the cancellation of the anticipatory bail that has been given to Girbala Singh. Now, Girbala Singh is also one of the very important accused in this case. She is the retired judge who is under the scrutiny. In fact, she has remained uncooperative throughout the investigation, and this is what we have been told. And this, in fact, the Supreme Court taking suo moto cognizance of the matter is a big win, not just for Twisha Sharma's family, but for the entire nation. A big win for Republic Media Network. We, in fact, had some of the very heated and aggressive confrontations with the accused. Our colleague Shambhavi in Bhopal had some serious confrontations with Girbala Singh. Meanwhile, me and Manav here at the Jabalpur High Court had a very heated confrontation with the prime accused Samarth Singh. We were in fact dragged, manhandled and pushed from within the court premises when we tried to confront the prime accused in the case. He was absconding for 11 days, and then all of a sudden when the Jabalpur bench of the High Court decided to cancel his bail petition that was filed, he played very smart to come to surrender at a court that was not even written in the official ruling that was given by the High Court. And then when we went inside to confront him, we were attacked, we were pushed, we were manhandled. And this, in fact, is a very, very big win, not just for Twisha Sharma's family, but for the entire nation, for the entire 145 crore people who are now seeking justice for Twisha, and for the entire Republic Media Network that has been campaigning in this regard, seeking justice for Twisha Sharma. That is in fact yet to be served. However, there are some big developments that are made, and we are looking at 2 big hearings today, one at the Supreme Court, the second one at the Jabalpur High Court, and we'll continue to campaign demanding justice for Twisha Sharma. Amrita.
Right, of course, Harsh will continue to monitor all the developments which will be coming to light, not just from the Supreme Court, but also from Jabalpur High Court today. And now, viewers, the mysterious death of Twisha Sharma has now reached the country's highest court, the Supreme Court, with the top court now stepping in amid mounting allegations of institutional bias, procedural lapses, and attempts to shield the accused in this case. In fact, in a major development, the Supreme Court took suo moto cognizance of the Twisha Sharma death case, and the matter will now be heard by the bench led by the Chief Justice of India, Justice Suryakant, along with Justice Joymala Bagchi and Vipul M. Pancholi.
That's right, Ishita. And even as the legal battle intensifies, emotional scenes unfolded in Bhopal, where Twisha Sharma's last rites were performed after her body was handed over to the family following a 4-hour-long second autopsy. Meanwhile, the accused husband, Samarth Singh, has been sent to 7 days of police custody after his dramatic surrender before the Jabalpur High Court. We have all the details in this report. Take a look.
The Supreme Court has stepped into the controversial Twisha Sharma death case, raising questions over alleged institutional bias and procedural lapses as scrutiny intensifies around the investigation into her death. The Supreme Court on Saturday took suo motu cognizance of the Twisha Sharma death case. The matter is slated to be heard by a bench led by Chief Justice of India Surya Kant and comprising Justices Joy Malia Bagchi and Vipul M. Pancholi. The last rites of Twisha Sharma were performed at a crematorium in Bhopal on Sunday after a body was handed over to the family following the 4-hour-long second autopsy. Emotional scenes unfolded at Badbara Vishram Ghat, where Twisha's brother performed the last rites in the presence of grieving family members. As the family performed Twisha's last rites, the AIMS forensic team also reached accused husband Samarth Singh's residence.
मैडम ये कौन सी टीम? मैम समर्थ को लेकर आए साथ में SID टीम है। टीम कौन सी आई है मैम? डॉक्टर्स की टीम से दिल्ली एम्स के डॉक्टर्स की टीम। क्या एम्स मेडिकल की आपको बता दें कि ये टीम जो है वो यहाँ पर पहुँची है और तस्वीरें जो है वो हम आपको दिखा रहे हैं। एम्स मेडिकल की टीम जो है वो यहाँ पर जो है वो पहुँची है, जो तस्वीरों में आप देख भी सकते हैं। तस्वीरें हम आपको दिखा रहे हैं और ये देखिए इनिशियल इन्फॉर्मेशन यहाँ पर आप लोग क्या करने पहुँचे हैं? पोस्टमार्टम 2 में क्या इन्फॉर्मेशन मिल रही है? क्या निकला है पोस्टमार्टम सेकंड रिपोर्ट? आप अंदर मत जाइए प्लीज। सर पोस्टमार्टम सेकंड रिपोर्ट देखिए यहाँ पर किसी भी तरीके से पुलिस की तरफ से जो है और साथ ही एम्स के डॉक्टर जो यहाँ पर आए हैं उनकी तरफ से आपको बता दें कि यहाँ पर कोई सहयोग जो है वो नहीं दिया जा रहा है।
Moreover, SIT will also be recreating the crime scene at the Samarth Singh residence. Accused and Twisha Sharma's husband Samarth Singh has been sent to 7 days of police custody after his dramatic surrender at the Jabalpur court. During the SIT interrogation, Samarth stated that Twisha's behavior changed during her pregnancy. Samarth also revealed that Twisha did not wish to leave a domestic life. Instead, she aspired to live a glamorous lifestyle. As more and more revelations come into light, the spotlight is now firmly on former Judge Giribala Singh as legal scrutiny around her anticipatory bail intensifies.
Amity University has one of India's largest merit scholarship programs for brilliant students. Over 9,000 students with 90% plus in their 12th boards are currently at Amity, benefiting from the culture of academic excellence and focus on research and innovation. To be with like-minded students who want to be successful, apply at amity.edu/scholarships.
Our pure Shahi Paneer Masala. Delicious, healthy, every day.
Character, the taste of success.
प्यास बुझाए ठंडक लाए सबको भाए जीरा से MTH का जलजीरा जीरा से
जीरा से असली रिफ्रेशिंग, असली स्वाद, असली मजा।
MTH
I want to start with some very disturbing pictures that have come in of a so-called right-wing leader. His name is Sushil Prajapati. He's accused of rape. After being in jail for 9 months, he gets bail, which means he's still an accused. He's an accused in a rape case. And the case goes back to 2025 when he took an LLB student.
प्योर सूजी पास्ता उबालो मिलाओ और खाओ 8 मिनट में तैयार। क्या टेस्ट है सबका राजा आर प्योर मसाला।
AU सेविंग्स अकाउंट में मिलते हैं अमेजिंग बेनिफिट्स, पेपरलेस बैंकिंग एंड हायर इंटरेस्ट, वो भी हर महीने।
मनी 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 एवरी मंथ। सोच बदलो और बैंक भी।
चमकी चाट से क्या बना है?
आलू चाट या फ्रूट चाट।
स्वाद बनाए चमकी चाट।
क्या बात है? स्वादिष्ट पकोड़े और फरसान, अरे चंकी चाट है इसकी जान।
असली स्वाद सिर्फ चंकी चाट।
केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ रे, दिल झूमे देखो मतवारा हुआ रे। केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ।
हर पल मनाओ केसरी त्योहार। विमल, बोलो जुबान केसरी।
थोड़े में ज्यादा स्वाद, यही तो है इसकी खास बात। वाओ मामा, क्या स्वाद है? अरे मेरे राजा,
In fact, very often I believe the only way to get justice in India is a media trial. So there's no reason for the media, if it's doing a good job of a media trial, to be on the back foot. In fact, the courts should stop making these overarching remarks about media trial and contemplate about one very basic thing. With the greatest of respect to the courts, when the other institutions fail, when people get let down by the system, when even the judiciary does not seem to be listening or raising a noise about issues, like in the case of Twisha Sharma, who does the public look to for justice, for raising their voice, for bringing something that's utterly false, illegal or wrong to public attention? It is only and only the media. And today, therefore, we are doing a media trial in this specific case, ladies and gentlemen, of Twisha Sharma, the 33.
From Asia's largest news headquarters, setting the agenda for Bharat. You're watching Republic.
Headlines brought to you by Canara Bank. Together we can.
A massive impact of Republic campaign as Supreme Court to hear Twisha's case, and state moves Madhya Pradesh High Court to cancel Giribala's anticipatory bail. Massive win for Twisha's family as Supreme Court takes a suo motu cognizance, a CJI-led bench to hear case today. After Madhya Pradesh High Court issued notice to Giribala on Friday, hearing on ex-judge's bail plea scheduled for today. Government hikes fuel prices for the fourth time within 2 weeks. Diesel price up by rupees 2.71 per litre and petrol price hiked by rupees 2.61 per litre. It's day 3 of Marco Rubio's visit to India. After holding bilateral talks with External Affairs Minister Jai Shankar, he's heading to Agra. All right, viewers, let's begin with the first top story, the big breaking news development, and this happened after the massive national outrage over the handling of the Twisha Sharma death case, and led by Republic's relentless pursuit for justice. Now, the Supreme Court will hear the case today. A bench led by the Chief Justice of India will hear the case today, and they have taken a suo motu cognizance of the case, which is rare in such cases, and now the Supreme Court has registered a case under alleged institutional bias and procedural discrepancies in the unnatural death of a young woman at her matrimonial home, that is Twisha Sharma. We have been relentlessly covering the story, investigating the story, bringing forward the lapses, the discrepancies and the cover-ups, the botch-up in the autopsy, and all of that continuously being with our reporters on the ground, unraveling the mystery and the cover-up which the Giribala's family tried in the death case of Twisha, where even since day one, we have been covering the story, and also during the first autopsy, this should be highlighted again and again that the belt that was allegedly used in hanging or a quote-unquote killing, Twisha, was not given by the investigating officer to the doctors who were conducting the first autopsy, that is the first post-mortem. And these are the visuals on your screen, ladies and gentlemen. As you can see, we highlight the very fact. This is part of our investigation, and you can see how Twisha was behaving very normal. She was not affected as that was being claimed by the mother-in-law, that is Giribala in this case. She can clearly be seen smiling, interacting 6 hours before her death. And so that's why we say that it is a cover-up. There are many evidences which clearly highlight that it is a cover-up, and because of relentless coverage, and we were highlighting the very fact that there was a cover-up and there was a trial by the family, by the in-law family, to cover up the entire case. And now they could not sustain this cover-up because Republic was covering the story, and this is clearly a Republic impact. All right, I have my colleagues, I have our reporters on ground. Sarthak is outside Supreme Court, and also Harsh is outside Jabalpur High Court. Sarthak, I would like to come to you first. Now, clearly this should be highlighted that it is indeed a Republic impact. And also in this case, if you can put this into perspective, Sarthak, it's rare for Supreme Court to take suo motu cognizance in such cases. If you can put that into perspective too, Sarthak.
Well, absolutely, Shivam. It's not very often that Supreme Court takes suo motu cognizance of cases until and unless it becomes a national issue. At this time, Twisha Sharma's death has become a national issue because certainly Supreme Court has also observed that there have been certain lapses, certain discrepancies in the way the entire investigation has been conducted. Firstly, the FIR was not registered on the day of death. Secondly, there were CCTV footages which clearly were evident that Giribala a few hours ago went up the stairs. She was laughing. She was in a chirpy mood. And in the next CCTV footage, we could see that they were bringing down the body of Twisha Sharma. In the post-mortem report, they alleged that she committed suicide using a belt. That belt was never produced in the post-mortem report. And he was the main accused, Twisha Sharma's husband, Samar Singh, was absconding for 10 days. Why was there a reason for him to abscond if he hadn't done anything wrong? And lastly, the way the anticipatory bail was granted to the mother-in-law of Twisha Sharma, Giribala Singh, just because she was an ex-judge, she was part of the judicial system of the country, she was a senior citizen, but also the matter of fact is that she was the main accused in the case. There was a possibility for her to tamper with the evidence. She's still residing in the same house where Twisha Sharma died. Why was there a reason for the Bhopal District Court to grant anticipatory bail to Twisha, to Giribala Singh? On the other hand, they refused to grant anticipatory bail to Samar Singh. So there are certain discrepancies, certain pertinent questions that were supposed to be raised. Supreme Court realized that during the entire probe, these questions were unanswered, and therefore Supreme Court has intervened. It's time for Supreme Court to take cognizance of the case and hear the matter personally, because one of the contentions, one of the main issues that were raised by the family of the victim, Twisha Sharma, was that they were expecting Supreme Court to intervene and to monitor the entire probe. And it seems like Supreme Court is going to do exactly that. We still do not have the exact details of what will transpire in the court. This is something that we are constantly tracking, but we are hopeful that Supreme Court will now monitor the entire case, monitor how investigation will be conducted further by CBI, may take periodic reports from CBI, and to just speed up the entire investigation just so that we can get to a plausible conclusion.
All right, Sarthak, stay with us. Shambhavi is also live with us. Harsh is also live with us. But we also have a big breaking news development in the case, because it's also important that the matter of Giribala will also be heard in the Supreme Court. We'll go to that big breaking news development in a short while, because that's also important. So not just in the Supreme Court, clearly highlights the impact of Republic coverage in this case. Now, there's another big breaking news development that we're getting right now in this moment, and Giribala's bail plea in Jabalpur High Court. And there's a hearing that is supposed to happen at around 2:30 p.m. and Jabalpur High Court to hear ex-judge's bail plea in this case, and that is going to happen right now. And we're getting more updates in this story, where Giribala Singh, we're also getting to know that Giribala Singh might contest her own case. She might come to Jabalpur High Court today. Now, this is as per sources. Let's go to our correspondent Harsh for more details on the story. Harsh, what is the latest that you are fetching on the hearing that is supposed to happen in the Giribala case, in the anticipatory bail case? Is she going to fight her case by her own, on her own?
Right, Shivam, now this is a source-based information that we are fetching, and in all possibilities, Giribala Singh, the mother-in-law, the retired district court judge, might appear in the Jabalpur High Court today. Remember, a hearing is scheduled at 2:30 p.m. where the Madhya Pradesh government is seeking the cancellation of the anticipatory bail that has been given to Giribala Singh by a sessions court in Bhopal. Giribala Singh is the retired judge who is under scanner, who is under scrutiny, and she has remained incooperative throughout the investigation. Now, in all likelihood, if our sources are to be believed, she might contest her own case today at the Jabalpur High Court, where the Solicitor General Tushar Mehta, in fact, joined by Advocate General representing the government of Madhya Pradesh, will be pleading the cancellation of the anticipatory bail that has been given to Giribala Singh. In all likelihood, she might contest her own case today, and this is the big breaking news that we are fetching for our viewers on Republic TV. Although this is a source-based information, but it is possible that Giribala Singh, we can also witness her coming to the Jabalpur High Court today to appear before the single judge bench that is now set to hear the cancellation plea of the anticipatory bail that has been given to her by a sessions court in Jabalpur, in Bhopal. Shivam.
All right, Harsh, continue to be with us. Sarthak is also with us, but we also have Shambhavi outside Giribala's residence in this case. She has been tracking the story from day one. Shambhavi, you were the one who confronted Giribala in the initial days, and she was asking you, are you investigating? And you said, indeed, yes, we are investigating. And today, Shambhavi, it is the day of impact. Rarely this happens that Supreme Court takes suo motu cognizance of such cases, and it also will become a precedent for the future cases, and it will be very impactful for the daughters of India. But what's the latest that you are fetching? Because it's a challenging day for Giribala in the High Court too. Over to you.
Well, it's a challenging day for the entire family. It is not just for Giribala Singh. It is also going to be a challenging day for Samad Singh, because God forbid the Supreme Court issues a notice or directs something which will be, of course, against Samad Singh and Giribala Singh. And when it comes to Giribala Singh's anticipatory bail, that the fact that a notice has been issued, let's see what turn does that take. And when it comes to Republic's impact, of course, we've been relentlessly covering this entire campaign, justice for Twisha, and also cancel Giribala Singh's bail. Most of our prayers have already been answered by the Madhya Pradesh High Court, whether it's the ask for a second post-mortem or whether it's the ask for acceptance of the petition of cancellation of anticipatory bail. We've gotten that. And also when Samad Singh tried to file an anticipatory bail application in the Madhya Pradesh High Court, the court clearly said that you better withdraw your application and surrender before the trial court or the investigating officer. And that is when even he had to withdraw his application, and he was arrested. A very key detail which is important for our viewers, all our viewers, is that he did not surrender. He was arrested. He was taken into custody by the Bhopal police, which was there at the Jabalpur High Court, at the Madhya Pradesh High Court, and that is from where he was brought in. So a huge day in all terms, shape and form, whether it's the hearing in the Madhya Pradesh High Court or the Supreme Court, and the lies that these people have been saying. And it was not just Giribala Singh reacting to our questions, saying, are you investigating? She was not able to answer a single question. Neither were her lawyers. We also confronted her lawyers, asking a very simple question, because he kept on telling us that we were trying to exhaust our legal remedy. That is a legal remedy available, that once you get an anticipatory bail, you can appear before the High Court for ask of an anticipatory bail once it gets rejected from the trial court. So we simply ask that what legal remedy were you exhausting in Jabalpur when the High Court asked you simply in clear words that even a child can understand that please surrender yourself before the trial court in Bhopal or the investigating officer. What kind of legal remedy were you exhausting back in Jabalpur in the Madhya Pradesh High Court? He did not have any answers. So these people, they did not have any answers to a question. They have not answered a single question of ours that Republic has been asking. Republic has been asking the hard questions.
Yeah.
Republic has been asking the questions that we know they don't have the answers of, and we will see what route do they take
they're out
in
of,
today's
they are out
hearing.
of the legal
Shiva.
remedies in this case, and they're trying to cover up the entire case, but one failure after the other. Stay with us. I would request all of you to stay with us because we are getting another big breaking news development, and this is about Giribala. The judge was trying to cover up. The ex-judge Giribala might contest her own case. This is the latest source-based information that we are fetching right now in this moment. Big breaking news development, that is Giribala, the mother-in-law in the Twisha death mystery, might contest her own case. She might come to Jabalpur High Court today. This is what sources are saying. Top big breaking news development. The hearing for petition demanding the cancellation of her anticipatory bail is scheduled for 2:30 p.m. in Jabalpur High Court today. Now, this is the source-based information that we are getting right now. And it is a tough day also for the family and one step closer towards getting justice for their daughter, for Trisha's family in this case. All right, let's go to Harsh once again on the development in the story. Harsh, if you can put this into perspective, we are getting the source-based information that Giribala will be contesting her own case.
Right, Shivam, now this is a source-based information that we are breaking for our viewers on Republic TV. If these sources are to be believed, Giribala Singh might appear before the Jabalpur High Court today. Now, there is a bail petition that is set to be heard today, the anticipatory bail that has been given to Giribala Singh by a sessions court in Bhopal. Now, the government of Madhya Pradesh is in fact demanding the cancellation of this particular bail, and they have in fact fielded the country's top lawyers, including the Solicitor General Tushar Mehta, who will also be joined by Prashant Singh, who represents the government of Madhya Pradesh as the Advocate General, and they are now seeking the cancellation of the anticipatory bail that has been given to Giribala Singh. Now, in all possibilities, if these sources are to be believed, Giribala Singh might contest her own case and she might herself appear before the Jabalpur High Court today. This is the source-based information that we are fetching. And also, we have been told that she has remained incooperative throughout the investigation. She is the retired judge who is under scrutiny, and more has to be fetched in this regard. But this is the big breaking news that we are fetching for our viewers on Republic TV, that she might appear before the Jabalpur High Court today and she might even contest her own case. Shivam.
All right, so this is definitely a very big day for Twisha Sharma's family also, one step closer towards getting justice. And also the hearing, suo motu cognizance, has been taken by the Supreme Court in this case. And also there is a very important hearing in Jabalpur High Court in the case of the anticipatory bail that was given to Giribala. Now, the second autopsy has been concluded in Twisha Sharma's death case. And as we await the reports, the lapses in the initial autopsy were jarring. Republic accessed the copy, exposed the flaws and asked questions. Watch this report as top forensic expert Professor Ganesh takes these questions, highlights serious gaps in first medical report, pointing out major blunt force injuries on Twisha's left arm and forearm, noted as resistance marks rarely seen in suicide cases. Watch this report.
Twisha Sharma case has now taken a major turn. A second autopsy has been ordered at AIIMS Bhopal amid growing questions over the first post-mortem examination. The doctor leading the second autopsy panel had already raised serious concerns in an exclusive conversation with Republic just days ago. Speaking to Republic earlier, forensic expert Dr. Ganesh had questioned the handling of the first autopsy and stressed the need for a more detailed examination.
This presence of these particular injuries, which are blunt force injuries, especially on the left arm, left forearm, and the left wrist, and also the right ring finger. And beside this, I think you should have gone through the report. Even on the head, and especially on the vault of the skull, especially we say on this area, there is a contusion, which I think we have missed it. That this contusion is also again very vital, and this is definitely due to an assault, because any injury on the vault cannot be accidental. That has to be an assault, and those injuries on the arms are clearly demonstrative that they are resistant injuries. Probably she has been assaulted, or she has been trying to ward off the attack, or something like that. These are the such injuries depending on the pattern and the nature and distribution. So this is what we can conclude, which are rarely found in so-called suicidal hangings. This definitely we see that either she was being battered, assaulted, or induced to hang herself, or definitely there she has been tortured at the time of the hanging or before hanging. These particular, see, you have rightly exposed this particular audio, which clearly indicates the animosity which she had towards her daughter-in-law. And beside this, the presence of injuries other than the ligature mark clearly demonstrates the reason for those animosity, and it more or less endorses the type of feeling or the so-called rage she had against her daughter-in-law. So, as I said before, again I repeat, the presence of these injuries on the body very clearly demonstrates that it is due to an assault, or definitely occurring at the time of the hanging or before the hanging. And another very important point I just wanted to make out to inform you is, see, beside the ligature, you can see in the neck two oval-shaped contused abrasions. This is something which is not present, not due to ligature itself. The lung findings which they have put in the postmortem reports, and the face and the eye findings, they are totally deviating from the so-called hanging findings. So this has to be investigated, and I am sure the concerns of the family raised for second autopsy is very much valid, because the findings, both external and internal findings, especially with the lungs and the eye changes and the face changes, are inconsistent with the so-called hanging. So hence, definitely a second autopsy will throw a light on their concerns. I'm very sure if the musculoskeletal exploration of the muscles below those contusions have been made, we can see how deeper are those injuries which are seen on the surface, face and the eyes, where the findings are not consistent with the so-called hanging. These findings are usually we see in suffocation and strangulations. So that needs to be elaborated. Beside this, as I said earlier, the blunt injuries, the muscles and the skeletal system underneath would have been examined. That is very important, because in such cases, we want to know what is the depth of those injuries. So it is just superficial or it is deep muscles are involved, just to understand. So how severity of the injuries. And beside this, after we hearing those tapes, it is very clear the family has prejudices, and that prejudices, I think, might have triggered that break in the relationship or the animosity, and that has resulted in this sort of incident. And one thing is a fact, it is very rarely I have seen where a house has a CCTV only focused towards the stairs. I am surprised to know that there are no other CCTVs in the house. This is first such house in the world, I suppose, where they have only one CCTV that to focus only towards the stairs. And secondly, I would like to see legally, because we are all from the legal field, we always very well know when such incidences happen that it is the duty of the person to call the police first. Why it was not done. And secondly, this is a death occurring within 7 years of marriage. A magisterial inquiry has done. It's not the police inquiry. See, it is very surprising to know until that why the magistrate why didn't he inquire? Because within 7 years after the marriage, it is always indicated 176 CRPC. That is, in coming to the past sections, it is the magistratal inquest has to be held. It is not the police inquest. Later on, the police carry out the investigation, but the death investigation and death inquest or the autopsy request will come only through the magistrate. But I just wonder why it was not done in this case. So all these things points out clearly that there's a broad inconsistencies, deviations. I think the family's concern or doubts are raised is very much valid, and a second autopsy will definitely help us to solve or answer those concerns. I think the family has to approach the court and take a permission and go for a second autopsy.
All right, so this was the forensic expert, Dr. Ganesh Rao, who clearly highlighted that there were many inconsistencies in the first autopsy report, and also the public investigation highlighted the very fact that Dr. Ganesh Rao just spoke and shared with you all. Now it's time to slip into a short commercial break, but don't go anywhere. Coming up next, massive win for Twisha's family as Supreme Court has taken suo motu cognizance of the case. A CJI-led bench to hear the case in a short while. Coming up next.
Our pure Shahi Paneer Masala. Delicious, healthy, every day.
केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ रे दिल झूमे देखो मतवारा हुआ रे केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ
हर पल मनाओ केसरी त्योहार विमल बोलो जुबान केसरी
आर प्योर सूजी पास्ता उबालो मिलाओ और खाओ
8 मिनट में तैयार।
क्या टेस्ट है सबका राजा आर प्योर मसाला।
I want to start with some very disturbing pictures that have come in of a so-called right-wing leader. His name is Sushil Prajapati. He's accused of rape. After being in jail for 9 months, he gets bail, which means he's still an accused. He's an accused in a rape case. And the case goes back to 2025 when he took an LLB student to one place on the pretext of introducing her to a senior advocate. He drugged her drink and then he sexually assaulted her. He is still under trial for rape. He has not been released.
Welcome back, viewers. You're watching Republic TV. This is Shivam Dutt Mehta. Now let's move on to another top story. Now, renowned scholar and master of the ancient art form of Avadhana, Shatavadhani, Dr. R. Ganesh will be conferred the Padma Bhushan by President Murmu later today. The award is in recognition of his exceptional contributions to art and Indian cultural heritage. The 63-year-old polyglot from Karnataka is celebrated for reviving and mastering Avadhana, an intricate performance art that demands extraordinary mental capabilities. Now, during Avadhana performances, the artist must simultaneously compose extempore poetry in classical meter, solve mathematical puzzles, and respond to questions from multiple scholars while maintaining aesthetic grace and literary excellence. Dr. Ganesh has performed over 1,300 Avadhanas across 4 languages: Kannada, Sanskrit, Telugu, and Prakrit. He is the only Shatavadhani, one who performs with 100 questioners from Karnataka and is credited with single-handedly reviving the Avadhana tradition in Kannada.
He answers 100 intellectual questions in poetic verses. Shatavadhani Dr. R. Ganesh, Padma Bhushan 2026. Avadhana, a classical art form unique to India, involves solving a variety of poetic challenges with verses composed extempore through multitasking and thinking laterally, also without any aids. It tests the practitioner's creativity and scholarship to the extreme.
First topic for spontaneous poetry composition, an Avadhana on nature.
This is very nice topic. I shall compose a verse in Drut Vilambat meter. When Bhagwan Vishnu is the Avadhani and his wife, the charming and vivacious Lakshmi, poses questions in 8 ways as Ashtalakshmi, poetry takes shape in the way of great art.
Born in 1962 in Kolar into a middle-class family, young Ganesh began to read Indian classics and perform in dramas, much encouraged by his parents. This sparked his curiosity and imagination at an early age, and he went on to become highly lettered. The turning point came when he was 19. He was in Chamrajpet when he saw a Telugu scholar performing a Sanskrit Avadhana. He was awestruck. He wondered why couldn't he do it in Kannada, and right away began to frame verses in his mind. At the end of the performance, scholars heard his verses and were amazed. Thus, he delivered his first Avadhana performance, his first step towards reviving a lost art form.
My guide and guru, late Lanka Krishna Murthy, believed that Indian culture, art and literature could be brought to the common man through this powerful art form.
Like a true one-man army, he traveled across Karnataka, educating, organizing, and performing Avadhanas. Standing tall as the state's only Shatavadhani, he earned a doctorate in literature for his work on Avadhana. Dr. R. Ganesh has also made significant contributions to performing arts. He is also well-versed in 18 languages and authored over 70 books. Dr. R. Ganesh will forever be known as a creator whose contribution to Indian culture and heritage will remain etched for generations to come.
This nation holds an immensely rich cultural legacy spanning over 7,000 years. I have come to understand its extraordinary depth through its literature, art, and extraordinary way of life. So, everyone must feel pride in this nation, grounded in reason and guided by admiration.
Shatavadhani Dr. R. Ganesh, Padma Bhushan 2026. Koti Koti Namaskara.
All right, so this was a coverage of now a massive impact of Republic campaign as the Supreme Court to hear Twisha's case, and a state moves Madhya Pradesh High Court to cancel Giribala's anticipatory bail in this case. Now, this is the big development. Now, let's have a look at the top headlines of the hour.
Headlines brought to you by Canara Bank. Together we can.
Now, this is the massive impact of Republic campaign as Supreme Court to hear Twisha's case, and state moves Madhya Pradesh High Court to cancel Giribala's anticipatory bail. Massive win for Twisha's family as Supreme Court takes suo motu cognizance. CJI-led bench to hear case today. After Madhya Pradesh High Court issued notice to Giribala on Friday, hearing on ex-judge's bail plea scheduled for today. Government hikes fuel prices for the fourth time within weeks. Diesel price up by Rs 2.71 per litre and petrol price hiked by Rs 2.61 per litre. Day 3 of Marco Rubio's visit to India. After holding bilateral talks with PM Jaishankar, he heads to Agra. All right, viewers, now for days, India has been following the Twisha Sharma case with news channels tracking the investigation and the legal battle. But some stories don't end when the bulletin does. For Republic, this was never about prime time. It was about finding a way forward. While others covered the story, Republic quietly helped the family take their next legal step, facilitating a meeting, connecting them with the legal team in Delhi. And today, as the Supreme Court takes cognizance, the family's fight has entered entered a decisive phase where Republic continues to stand with them. Watch this report.
For days, the Twisha Sharma case has dominated the national headlines. But Republic went beyond.
Are you doing the investigation?
A journey from grief to a search for justice.
Arnab sir, thanks a lot, sir. Thanks a lot. Salute to you, sir. All your efforts, sir, that we have got clearance from the state government for the CBI probe. Thanks to you a lot, sir.
On Wednesday, Republic created a bridge. A group, Twisha Sharma's Supreme Court, was formed, bringing together reporters, lawyers in Delhi and Twisha's family. The aim was simple, not an exclusive, not a headline, but helping a family find legal direction.
Republic is here at the airport in Bhopal, Raja Bhoj International Airport, with Twisha Sharma's family, who is set to leave to Delhi for the final filing of the writ petition in Supreme Court. Republic is there with the family at every step of the way. When the lawyers reached out to Republic, asking and seeking to help the family free of cost.
From Bhopal, Twisha's family travelled to Delhi to sit across the table and begin preparing for their next legal step. As Republic stood with them in their fight against the system, this was not a camera moment. It happened quietly. Republic not just asking the right questions.
The mother-in-law, the ex-judge who is seen there coolly walking away while the daughter-in-law's body is being taken away by three men, one identified absconding to unidentified, and the mother-in-law calmly walks away and now says, oh, she was a schizophrenic who happened to die. And you know what, Siddharth, every second I'll tell you, and I won't speak after this, Ishkaran, Subrashta and Ms. Napena, every moment I see this ex-judge sitting in front of her law books, trying to act all high and mighty because she's an ex-judge who got bail. I just want to say one thing. What has happened to the judicial system in my country? With the greatest of respect to all the senior advocates, all the judges, all the appellate courts, why are they quiet today?
But also helping Twisha's family reach places where answers to those questions could be found. Today, as the Supreme Court takes cognizance of this case, the fight for Twisha enters a new stage. And the family that arrived with questions in Delhi now moves forward with a legal path. Because for Republic, justice does not end with mere coverage.
All right, viewers, now this is clearly a Republic impact because we have been covering the story from day one, and now the Supreme Court has taken the suo motu cognizance of this case, which is rare in such cases, and this will be a benchmark for future cases also because the family is now a bit satisfied because they are one step ahead towards the justice they want for their daughter. Now, we are being joined by Anurag Srivastav, who is the lawyer in this case, that is Trisha's lawyer. He's joining us live from New Delhi. Thanks a lot, Anurag, for joining us at this critical moment. But Anurag, how strong are the evidences in this case against the in-laws, against the Giribala's family? And if you can put this into perspective, how big was this cover-up?
I would say that what we could cover up are the procedural lapses and the poor investigation being conducted by the agencies. I still fear that the time they got, especially Giribala being a session judge and she enjoying the scene of crime right from day one until date, they might have, they were in a position and they might have been able to destroy the actual evidences which were available in that house or the scene of the crime, and they might have implanted evidences against Twisha, whatever they have been alleging. What we could highlight through Republic and whatever the coverage has been done by the channel, right from 12th until date, there are number of lapses which were committed by the agencies. There are number of cover-ups being made by the accused, the agencies and the supporters, whosoever they may be. And we know that the supporters range from their relatives, their friends, to officers, to judges, whatever evidences we have got with respect to the calls being made by Giribala. And definitely there was a huge team supporting them, because after all this of campaign which was being done that day, on 22nd, that day, when finally Samarth's anticipatory bail application was rejected by the Honorable Court, he was still seeking the shelter in a courtroom. And it was not just any courtroom, it was the courtroom of the District and Sessions Judge Jabalpur. So everyone in the country can imagine the level of support they were getting from every corner. Let's still hope that CBI would take it over as soon as possible, and CBI will try to investigate every aspect, also the aspect that how all this cover-up has been done by them.
But also, Anurag, the way this has been taken up, now the suo motu cognizance by Supreme Court in such cases, if you can also explain this to our viewers, this is rare for such cases. And also, it's clearly a Republic impact. We have been covering this from day one, and now the family is going one step closer towards justice for their daughter. If you can also explain to our viewers how a suo motu cognizance is taken in such cases, which is rare when it comes to this case, and how it will also set a precedent for future cases and help the daughters.
Definitely, it's a very rare case, and in my entire career of 35 years, I don't remember, I can't recollect that any such case has been taken up by the Honorable Supreme Court in suo motu hearing, which, you know, I believe that all the things have been minutely been observed by Honorable Supreme Court, both with respect to the procedural lapses and the institutional bias. The Supreme Court must have observed how she got the anticipatory bail and how the things were being covered up. Definitely, you know, we hope that much cognizance has been taken by the honorable judges on their part, and it will now, you know, we'll be able to know what all they have observed only when the hearing starts in the Supreme Court, and the concerned parties would definitely be asked to submit whatever they have in their possession, the evidences which we have in the possession. State would be asked to submit their reply or the status report. So let us now wait for what the Supreme Court does in this hearing and the future hearings to be conducted in this case. But this has definitely given a ray of hope to all such persons who don't get a opportunity for challenging the investigation lapses, and the victim is not in fact having any support. If we recollect in the recent past, right from the Palghar incidents, Disha Sania.
So this clearly becomes a benchmark case, and it also becomes a case study for future cases. Anurag. Yeah, stay with us. I'm also being joined by Mrunalini Deshmukh, who's a senior family lawyer in this case. She joins us live from Mumbai. Thanks a lot, Mrunalini, for joining us. And I need your comment on this too, because as highlighted by Anurag Srivastav and by us, because this was completely a Republic campaign and this impact is clearly visible, and there was public outrage, and we did not stop our coverage. We did not let it just remain another headline. Now the Supreme Court taking it as a suo motu cognizance, it will serve as a benchmark for future cases. If you can explain that to our viewers also, then I'll ask you the questions about the inconsistencies in the first autopsy and a lot more questions that I have for you. Mrunalini.
Absolutely. Good morning to all of you, and I think this is a very bright day in the day of justice, as I would put it, because the Honorable Supreme Court, the apex court of the country, has decided to suo motu take charge of the matter. I think there cannot be anything much better in terms of justice that can happen. But it is so sorry at the same time that this is not the actual job of the Supreme Court. It has to be done at the trial court level, at the investigation level, and these things have to be done, as it is the Supreme Court. The Honorable Supreme Court is inundated with so many of cases. But having said this, justice comes first, and the heap of work comes a little later. And that is how the court has taken cognizance of this matter. Now, having said this, the reason for doing it is because the court is, and I must tell you this, Arnab, it is because of the media activism. We have judicial activism, we have social activism. But here the media, especially your channel, has been so prompt and made it an issue because they wanted justice to be given to Twisha, who is no longer with us, and also to the family for whom the loss is absolutely irreplaceable. Now, having said this, what is really important is, as Twisha, the lawyer for the prosecution has been telling you right earlier, is the fact that the cover-ups, the expert legal and medico-legal brain of the ex-judge or the Sessions Court judge, who herself had the experience of dealing with these matters as a judge, learned from her experiences as a judge, and little probably did she know that she would have to use it in her personal case. And that is what she has done. And that was extremely alarming. And the worst, I would say, as a person from the legal fraternity, why would you approach the media? Why would you approach the social media and give your justification or your side of the story? You go to the police, give your statements, support the investigation, cooperate with the investigation, because it could be happening that your version could be right or the version of the prosecution could be right. But why adopt the social media and the other media to canvass what your things are? I think that was the biggest flaw that she's done. And maybe she's done
Brunalini, because you clearly understand that Brunalini is an ex-judge. She understands this is not the first case she might be dealing with. She understands all the loopholes. She knows what to do in what scenario. So that's the reason. But she got caught. She got exposed because we were covering the story. We did not leave the story, and they all got exposed. With all due respect to the senior lawyers and the courts in this case, but she clearly could have influenced the entire case if Republic would have not covered. Yeah. And we also have another big breaking news development in this case where Giri Bala will be arguing her case on her own. I'll have this question. All right, with big breaking news development coming in on your screen, ex-judge Giri Bala could contest her own case in this case. And it is about her anticipatory bail, which has been challenged. And now Giri Bala's bail cancellation hearing is at 2:30. Anurag Srivastav, I would like your comment on that. Can she contest her own case because the charges are against her and she was wrongly given anticipatory bail? Your response on that?
She can.
See, there is...
First Anurag, then you, ma'am.
No impediment in law. Yeah, there is no impediment in law that an accused person cannot argue his or her own case. So law gives that right to her if she wants to argue on her own. She may argue, she may engage any lawyer, she may engage any senior lawyer, she may call any lawyer from any part of the country. That does not bother us. We have raised several serious issues, several serious grounds while challenging and praying for the quashment of the anticipatory order, and we stick to them, and we'll definitely argue before the Honorable High Court on all those issues at 2:30 today.
Yeah, Anurag, don't you think so that she believes that nobody else can handle this situation better than her? She have been helping in the cover-up since day one. Also, the CCTV, it records exactly at the time when the body is being brought down, and they are giving a CPR near the CCTV. Where in a family, where in a home do you have a CCTV that's aimed towards the stairs? So the many cover-ups that she is doing, she is only confident that I can carry this forward. Murunalini, I'll take this, Ms. Deshmukh, this question to you now.
Yes, so this is what I'm saying, and to just continue with what was said earlier by my panelists is, she definitely can argue, and every person has a right in law to argue his or her case. In this case that we have an expert ex-Sessions Court judge who's dealt with these kind of cases hundreds or thousands, if I may use that word. And obviously she knows all the nuances. Secondly, she may have categorically from the day one, when, as you said, that whilst the body was taken down and gone to the AIMS, she was sitting and making calls. So she must have got some advice from her friends who are from the legal fraternity. She may have herself made a lot of notes about it, and she thought who better than her as a lady and as an ex-judge appealing to them, to their lordships, would be able to put forward the case that this is a case of abuse of the law. This is the case of false allegations and accusations being made. This is a case where the media has sort of given it too much of importance, and this is how it has happened, and none of the things which are there. Obviously, in my limited understanding, and I'm not the judges of the Supreme Court, but obviously this will not sail through with the court, and they will get into and ask her necessary questions which are there. So I think this is something that the Supreme Court, which has taken suo motu cognizance of the severity of the case and the mismanagement and the complete botching up of all the evidences, is something which is going to be an eye-opener, not in the annals of justice and judiciary, but I would also say should, in some case, serve as a deterrent for anybody who is ever going to try such kind of things, because you cannot escape the long arm of the law.
All right, yes, Ms. Deshmukh, stay with us. Anurag, stay with us. We have a big breaking news development, another big breaking news development that we're getting right now in this moment. And this is exclusive details from Samarth's questioning that we are getting. And it is that sources say that Samarth continues to slandering Twisha, and the police is probing who shielded Samarth for 10 days. Now the probe is on. And Anurag, your comment on that. Samarth is being questioned and he continues to slander Twisha in this case, and now police is probing who shielded Samarth for 10 days.
Definitely, that's a point of investigation for the police. See, what I have been informed that during this period, 3 calls were made by Giribala to Samarth. So it was so easy for the police to trace Samarth, both the phones must have been on track, and if they were not, it is for the investigation to answer. For 10 days, he was taking shield somewhere, either at Bhopal or at Jabalpur, because finally he was traced in Jabalpur and arrested from there. So it is definitely a serious matter, and I'll put one thing forward, because even we allege so many discrepancies in the first postmortem, but I would like to tell one thing, that in the first postmortem also, Disha's nails, fingernails were seized and for DNA verification. So why? Because some injuries were found in her fingers, and probably the medical experts were wanted to confirm whether any part of Samarth's body or skin or some tissues are found in her nails, to confirm whether there was some resistance by Twisha or not. So now the $1 million question is that Samarth's hiding period of 11-12 days might be for the purpose of getting, all the signs of those injury, let them vanish, let him recover from that, and then make him out. So, because in that, after 10-11 days of his medical examination, no such injuries would be found. So that can be one of the reason of his taking shelter somewhere. And during this 10 days of his absconding, several times we got some tips of the places where he could be hiding. Okay. And they were informed to the investigation agencies also. Yeah. But it was for the investigation agencies to track him.
Yeah, that's why the family was demanding the second autopsy in this case. I would request Anurag, you and Mrunalini, both of you, to please stay. We are slipping into a short commercial break, but we'll be just back with a lot of updates in the story, because it's a massive win for Twisha's family as Supreme Court takes suo motu cognizance, a CJI-led bench to hear the case today. Coming up next.
Amity University has one of India's largest merit scholarship programs for brilliant students. Over 9,000 students with 90% plus in their 12th boards are currently at Amity, benefiting from the culture of academic excellence and focus on research and innovation. To be with like-minded students who want to be successful, Apply at amity.edu/scholarships.
थोड़े में ज्यादा स्वाद ये तो है इसकी खास बात। वाओ मम्मा क्या स्वाद है। अरे मेरे राजा मसाला।
जब तक लाजवाब न बन जाए उसे नहीं इत्मीनान है। तभी तो रिचमंड बनना नहीं आसान है।
चमकी चाट से क्या बना है?
सैंडविच लस्सी और छाछ
हर घूंट में चमकी चाट। अब बताओ स्वाद आया?
असली स्वाद सिर्फ चमकी चाट।
In fact, very often I believe the only way to get justice in India is a media trial. So there's no reason for the media, if it's doing a good job of a media trial, to be on the back foot. In fact, the courts should stop making these overarching remarks about media trial and contemplate about one very basic thing. With the greatest of respect to the courts, when the other institutions fail, when people get let down by the system, when even the judiciary does not seem to be listening or raising a noise about issues, like in the case of Twisha Sharma. Who does the public look to for justice, for raising their voice, for bringing something that's utterly false, illegal or wrong to public attention? It is only and only the media. And today, therefore, we are doing a media trial in this specific case, ladies and gentlemen, of Twisha Sharma, the 33-year-old daughter-in-law of an ex-judge, in a case where the ex-judge and the ex-judge's advocate son appear to be more than involved. Ladies and gentlemen, 15 questions tonight. And if they think it's a media trial, so be it. So be it. Why did the ex-judge in the case of Twisha Sharma, neither she nor her son call a police or an ambulance? What took them 57 minutes to bring the body down? Where are the 3 men who are seen in the video dragging Twisha's body, destroying evidence? What was the police?
हमारे पास चैट का प्रूफ है जो हमने सबमिट किया था कोर्ट में। WhatsApp चैट में जो हमने निकाली थी, में क्लियर कट कंडक्ट दिख रहा है, खराब कंडक्ट दिख रहा है। इसने अपनी बहन को लिखा है, I am trapped.
How is this a logical question to ask?
Why is it illogical? Somebody is a past and who's wanting, desirous of getting a job.
Exactly. So you are exactly saying this कि भाई तुम्हारा past है इसलिए we are gauging you based on your past. You are bringing your past again. And how can you expect someone to actually not do it?
Why is CPR given on the staircase in clear view of the CCTV rather than at the scene of the accident? If she has died or committed suicide, then you give her CPR there. You don't bring her body down in a way so that it can be captured on CCTV. Show that you are giving CPR unless some mastermind has planned this. The mother-in-law, the ex-judge, walks up calmly while the body is being dragged down and evidence is being destroyed before the judge's eye.
Please note, madam. हम जा रहे हैं लेकिन आप इसको माइक पे नहीं मार सकते। नहीं मार सकते।
Some people using their knowledge, position and power over the legal and prosecution system to torture you. जब आपकी आवाज रिपब्लिक और दूसरे मीडिया में आएगी, तभी इनकी आंखें खुलेंगी।
AU करंट अकाउंट के साथ मिलता है फ्री UPI QR ओवरड्राफ्ट फैसिलिटी और एक ही ऐप से बैंक के सारे काम। AU
सोच बदलो और बैंक भी।
आर प्योर शाही पनीर मसाला, डिलीशियस, हेल्दी एवरीडे।
Character, the taste of success.
प्यास बुझाए ठंडक लाए सबको भाए जीरा सिप MTH का जल जीरा जीरा सिप।
जीरा सिप असली रिफ्रेशिंग, असली स्वाद, असली मजा।
MTH
I want to start with some very disturbing pictures that have come in of a so-called right-wing leader. His name is Sushil Prajapati. He's accused of rape. After being in jail for 9 months, he gets bail, which means he's still an accused. He's an accused in a rape case. And the case goes back to 2025 when he took an LLB student.
प्यास बुझाए ठंडक लाए सबको भाई जीरा से MTH का जल जीरा जीरा से
जीरा से असली रिफ्रेशिंग, असली स्वाद, असली मजा।
MTH
केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ रे, दिल झूमे देखो मतवारा हुआ रे। केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ।
हर पल मनाओ केसरी त्योहार। विमल, बोलो जुबान केसरी।
आर प्योर सूजी पास्ता उबालो मिलाओ और खाओ 8 मिनट में तैयार। क्या टेस्ट है सबका राजा आर प्योर मसाला।
In fact, very often I believe the only way to get justice in India is a media trial. So there's no reason for the media, if it's doing a good job of a media trial, to be on the back foot. In fact, the courts should stop making these overarching remarks about media trial and contemplate about one very basic thing. With the greatest of respect to the courts, when the other institutions fail, when people get let down by the system, when even the judiciary does not seem to be listening or raising a noise about issues, like in the case of Twisha Sharma, who does the public look to for justice, for raising their voice, for bringing something that's utterly false, illegal or wrong to public attention? It is only and only the media. And today, therefore, we are doing a media trial in this specific case, ladies and gentlemen, of Twisha Sharma, the 33-year-old daughter-in-law of an ex-judge, in a case where the ex-judge and the ex-judge's advocate's son appear to be more than involved. Ladies and gentlemen, 15 questions tonight. And if they think it's a media trial, so be it. So be it. Why did the ex-judge in the case of Twisha Sharma, neither she nor her son call a police or an ambulance? What took them 57 minutes to bring the body down? Where are the 3 men who are seen in the video dragging Twisha's body, destroying evidence? What was the police doing? Did they question the house staff? Did they question the judge? Was Twisha carrying headphones in her bag, in her hand, or a rope? Where is it now? Where is that so-called belt that cops claim was...
From Asia's largest news headquarters, setting the agenda for Bharat. You're watching Republic.
A very warm welcome, viewers. You're watching Republic TV. This is Shivam Dutt Mehta, and we continue our campaign for justice for Twisha, because the Supreme Court has now taken suo motu cognizance, and this is after the continuous, relentless Republic campaign where we exposed Giribala. We found the inconsistencies, and this was clearly a Republic investigation. Now the family is one step closer to getting justice for their daughter. We'll get you all the latest updates on that and a lot more. But first up, let's have a look at the top headlines of the hour.
Headlines brought to you by Canara Bank. Together we can.
A massive impact of Republic campaign as Supreme Court to hear Twisha's case, and state moves Madhya Pradesh High Court to cancel Giribala's anticipatory bail. Massive win for Twisha's family as Supreme Court takes suo motu cognizance, CJI-led bench to hear case. After Madhya Pradesh High Court issued notice to Giribala on Friday, hearing on ex-judge's bail plea scheduled for today. All right, viewers, let's begin this bulletin with the top big breaking news development, because we are getting a lot from the investigation, because there was a big cover-up in this entire case, and this is the exclusive details that we are fetching from Samarth's questioning. And as per sources, Samarth continues slandering Twisha, and the police now probes the entire matter. The SIT now probes the entire matter. This is the big breaking news development that we are getting right now. This is the SIT interrogation of the accused, one of the accused, the husband, that is Samarth Singh, and it continues. And the accused Samarth had remained absconding across several cities, including Seoul and Jabalpur. And now this big breaking news development, the hearing by Supreme Court, that is the suo motu cognizance, which has been taken by the Supreme Court. The hearing will happen, and Supreme Court hearing on Twisha case to begin shortly. This is rare. This does not happen usually. All right, let's go back to our guests. We are being joined by Anurag Srivastav, and also we have Mrunalini with us. Anurag, let's highlight the fact once again that this was because of the campaign of the public, Republic campaign, the media coverage, and the family which fought this case for justice for their daughter. Once again, Anurag, the Supreme Court will hear the case very soon.
Yeah, we are just waiting for the sequence list to come, and we'll know around what time the case would be heard. I'm just waiting outside the Supreme Court and would be leaving in another 10 minutes or so. We are hopeful. We are much hopeful, because it is one such rare case when Honorable Supreme Court has taken suo motu cognizance of all the material discrepancies which have been being highlighted by Republic all through the last 10-12 days. So let's hope for the best now.
Okay, so as we build up to this to the Supreme Court hearing, a couple of points. There have been several turning points in the case. Mrunalini Deshmukh also joining us on the broadcast. In fact, Mrunalini, like in the case of Aravali, I mean, if you can hear me. Okay, so Mrunalini, Supreme Court doesn't just pick up a case suo motu just like that, unless there is nationwide discussion.
Substance,
right?
yeah.
Now, the fact that they have picked up this case, and I just want to tell you, about 15 days back, I think it was the 14th, that's roughly 12 days back. On the 14th, when we spoke to the family was, the uncle spoke to us, the parents could not, because they were in court for an anticipatory bail hearing of Giribala, and she won that day. And that was also the day when they were cornered in court by judicial officers. Lawyers harassed them inside a courtroom, right? By then, Giribala had a sense, that is an ex-judge, had a sense that she had gamed the system and she was winning. None of the chats were out, none of the CCTV videos were out, none of the audio tapes were out, none of the call logs were out, right? But it's beautiful what an investigation can do to a story like this, and we've seen this, in the course of our coverage. We've been very, 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 very excited to pull out each of these details and to expose this person called Giribala. Now, all of this has led to the Supreme Court taking this case up. Now, when the judges take this case up today, what will they be looking at? What will be on the minds of the judges? Mrunalini.
Yes. So I think the first thing that the courts are going to be considering is about questioning the investigation, because that is within their jurisdiction to ensure that the investigation is done in a proper manner. They would also be investigating about the post-mortem that was conducted on Twisha after her death, and why was and in what manner, how was it done, and what was the report that came. Secondly, now since the Madhya Pradesh High Court has ordered a second post-mortem, obviously that would be something that the courts would be getting into it. And thirdly, and more importantly, the role of the ex-judge, Giribala ji, would be also questioned in the sense that not only was she an active accomplice, as one would call it, but also was, in my view, and this is my limited view, I'm not saying it could be the Supreme Court's view, in my view could be responsible for destroying, tampering and botching up all the evidences that could be there. Using her expert legal mind, using her expert experience as a sessions court judge, and using also her surely a very crooked mind to safeguard this. Otherwise, you tell me something, how is it that someone like Samarth can be absconding for 10 days? I can understand for a day or two, but for 10 days he was kept in some kind of a safe haven to be away from the police, the investigation, and all the other things that follow. So this was very well planned. From, as I understand, from a third person point of view, it was very well planned, very meticulously done, using the legal expertise and the legal brain, and was so sure when she got an anticipatory bail, because if both of them would have been arrested, who would have been present there to sort of tamper the evidence, clear the evidence, and not keep any traces of the same. So she was confident that once she gets an anticipatory bail, then she will be at ease and she will have time to do what she thought would be useful, to be able to not get both of them trapped in the prosecution net. Unfortunately, with the media activism, as we have seen in case of Republic, it has put a tremendous pressure, not only, and this was a cry of justice from the media, from you. There was a cry of justice on behalf of Twisha's family, that they need justice. They need to be dealt with in a manner which is fair, proper, when there is a rule of law in our court of law. So this is a kind of a subtle pressure, I would say, and a positive one, not a negative one, a very, very constructive and a positive one, which was done, which brought about the awareness amongst even the Madhya Pradesh judiciary and the investigating authorities, and also the Honorable Supreme Court of India. When the learned Solicitor General, Mr. Tushar Mehta himself says that it was the bail granted to Giribala was done in a hurried manner, I think that speaks volumes, coming from a person of his stature and his standing in the judicial field. So I think that itself is something that can help us, or rather can help the investigating authorities, can help everybody to come to the person who is responsible, the cause for it, and what was it that led. Because if Giribala is showing that this lady Twisha was at a salon, say maybe 3 or 4 hours before that, which means she was not in a depressed state of mind. Nobody who is excited and happy and who is doing her hair or whatever the treatment may be is going to go and just commit suicide. I mean, there has to be some semblance of logic, right? I think that was something like a self-goal, if I may put it. If you are trying to say that.
No, not just that.
That it was a suicide, that she was quite okay. So anyways, I mean, that I'm nowhere to intervene in the investigation. The investigating authorities will do their job, which unfortunately they had not done earlier. But obviously with the Supreme Court overseeing the whole thing and trying to ensure justice is not only done, but it also seems to be done, but are also done, they will have better, and we will come out with better sort of things after the investigation. I'm very hopeful, I'm very sure, and I'm sure her departed soul will get justice, if that's all that we can do now.
Yeah.
She's no longer with us.
Yeah, I want to take one last question with Anurag, because I need to free him. I know he needs to follow the legal proceedings now. We promised to free him at 10:10. There is some breaking news update coming in from the questioning of Samarth, Anurag. And we are hearing that Samarth, as of this minute, continues to sort of raise questions on Twisha's character. The focus has been on checking who was shielding him. The police, which is selectively leaking all this information. I think the role of the police itself is under the scanner here, isn't it, Samarth? In the SIT, the SHO officer who was right behind, who was staying close to Giribala's house, that SHO officer was made part of the SIT, right? And is he also part of this investigation?
So far as anything's being stated by Samarth during the investigation, I would say that he has got ample time of 10-12 days to plan whatever he has to say before the investigating authorities. That is what we have been questioning. See, the $1 million thing is that anybody can say that it is a media trial. Any criminal case would depend, its result would depend upon a proper investigation. What the family has been fighting from day one until date is a fair, quick investigation, a fair investigation, an unprejudiced investigation, and the family has been, the accused being so powerful in being judges and lawyers and having connections everywhere, that they have been able to manage these 12-13 days for hampering all the investigation. So what we have been fighting is a fair and proper and unbiased investigation. If investigation is not proper, what the Trisha's family would be able to do during the trial? So they have got ample opportunity to plan what to answer, what to reply to the investigating agencies, and that is what Samarth is doing. And so far as you know, that video has also been submitted by Giribala herself. Now, the Mount Hospital from their residence is at 5 minutes distance. If anything was committed or happened to Twisha, the first thing they could have done to call the Mount Hospital, the ambulance have come, medical experts would have brought him down from the roof under proper care on stretchers, not like the manner she was dragged from the roof, from the third floor to the downstairs, as they show that they were trying to bring her down. It must have taken much time for them to bring her down from the upper floors to the ground floor. Then it would have taken to call an ambulance from Mount Hospital, which was just 5 minutes away from their residence, and she would have been taken to the hospital under proper medical care right from the rooftop, and if she was alive at that time, she could have been saved. But the manner they are bringing her down, it is their argument that they wanted her to reach the hospital at the earliest, and therefore they could not inform the police chowki, Katara Hills, which is just besides their house. It's absolutely false. It's absolutely cover up because you know, from the roof and bringing her down through the stairs, giving her CPR, when they were they were able to come under the CCTV. So all these things, you know, indicate that something serious happened on the third floor, and the video has been submitted by Giribala. I make it a point that it was submitted by Giribala when she filed bail, the application for anticipatory bail on 14th. So from 12th till 14th and 15th, definitely they tampered with the DVR, they tampered with the CC recordings, they themselves submitted, and we have been questioning this thing, that in that video, Twisha is seen going up, then there is entire thing missing. If Trisha committed something upstairs, then there should have been a visual where Samarth is is going upstairs, then watching that Trisha has done something, then calling the other two boys from the ground floor. But the visual they have submitted is that Trisha going up, and after some time, 3 people along with Samarth dragging her down to the ground floor. So that is all very serious, because it seems that there has been an editing in the video which Giribala has submitted. That video was not submitted by the prosecution. That video has not been submitted by Twisha's family. It was only under the possession of Giribala. She submitted it before the court. She has submitted all the call recordings of her mobile during the anticipatory bail application, from which it could be ascertained that there were so many calls to higher authorities, police authorities and judges. So everything seems to be very fishy. I would definitely be try to join you later, because now I have to leave.
Anurag, I'll free you at this point. I know you need to leave, so I'll free you at this point because I'm getting in some more details of the interrogation. Interrogation of Samarth, Twisha's husband. The SIT interrogation of the accused continues. The accused was absconding for almost 10 days across several cities, including Sehor, Jabalpur. He kept his mobile phone switched off during his time in hiding to prevent his location from being traced, and which is what the police claimed was the reason why they could not track him. The police will interrogate those who provided shelter to the accused Samarth while he was absconding, which indicates that police perhaps knows who shielded him. And during the interrogation, the accused, in this case Samarth, has persistently tried questioning Twisha's character. Rakshita is joining me live. Rakshita is outside the Supreme Court. Shambhavi is in Bhopal. And in Jabalpur, we have Harsh. Let's go across to our reporters, a team of reporters tracking the story from across the country. Rakshita, first up, to what we are, do we have any details, Rakshita, first up on at what time is this case going to be taken up in the court? And then we'll go across to Bhopal.
Well, what we understand is that in perhaps 10 to 15 minutes from now, around 10:30 a.m. is when we expect the bench to assemble. That will be a 3-judge bench led by the Chief Justice of India, Justice Surikant. And we expect that the hearing should begin in maximum by 11 a.m. So this is what we are hearing from inside the court, with our correspondents also tracking it from inside the court. And that is, of course, the time when everybody will be having their all attention on that hearing. As our experts were also mentioning that it is a rare move from the Supreme Court to take cognizance of the matter, suo motu cognizance of such a matter. We've seen that there have been multiple dowry deaths that have been reported in the past 1 to 2 years in this country. And here, it's not just the dowry or the harassment case, but the way the system has been manipulated allegedly. And that has been also mentioned in a letter by Mr. Navnidhi Sharma, who is the father of Twisha Sharma. He had written a letter also to the Chief Justice of India. He has highlighted in that letter the discrepancies in this investigation and how the system is being influenced by the former judge, who is Giribala Singh, the mother-in-law of Twisha. So they have time and again raised the demand of the entire investigation to shift to be shifted to the CBI, the central agency, which it has been recommended by the Madhya Pradesh government. But yes, it will be, we have to, of course, wait and watch what really will be the move from the Supreme Court today. What initiative they are going to take. Is there going to be a court-ordered inquiry that will be ordered from the Supreme Court? Because they need to, of course, set a deterrent example, given how such cases have been coming in for a long time. And Justice Surikant's move has been hailed as well. Transfer of case from Madhya Pradesh to Delhi is also one possibility that is being looked at, but it all boils down to what happens after 11 a.m. Niranjan.
Okay, more on the questioning. We have Rakshita, we have Shambhavi in Bhopal. Sir. She's tracking the questioning of Samarth. Samarth is in Bhopal.
On it.
Shambhavi.
Well, yes, before we move on to that, I'm outside Giribala Singh's house right now, and I wanted to show exactly what is the situation here. If we understand the movement, see, this is the ground floor and there are houses, and that is on the first floor is the terrace where she allegedly hanged herself, and the white curtains that you see, that is where inside there is a in-home gym, and that is exactly where Twisha was seen going upstairs with a headphone in her hands. Now, we know that the crime scene had to be recreated once the SIT is here, and ideally this entire spot should be cordoned off, should be sealed. But just now we have seen multiple movements here. We were not able to get it on camera, but we will make sure that next time we get it on camera. There's completely accessible to everybody. We've seen multiple servants going in and out of this we are showing you right here, these curtains. Just behind this curtain is that grill, is that in-home gym where Twisha was seen going upstairs. So this is important to understand the anatomy of the house, and to show that even now, when the matter is being reinvestigated from scratch, when even the forensic team was here yesterday questioning and collecting all the forensic evidence, and then just some time before, a team was here with Samarth Singh trying to recreate what happened, was here to get a hold of what was happening. A lot of damage has already been done. This area is completely accessible to everybody even now. What is the point of the forensics team coming here and collecting even evidences which might not even be here? And even an SIT team is said to be here, is confirmed to be here without Samarth this time. And they will be recreating the spot, the alleged crime spot, and they will make sure that each and every angle is being taken care of. But it is totally accessible to everybody. This place, we have seen multiple movements since we've been standing outside the house. We've seen multiple movements of servants. We've seen multiple movements of, we don't even know who these individuals are. So this is completely accessible. There's nothing left to be, to take a note of. It will be so difficult for the team to get the forensic evidence or to make sure that all the other evidences which might be present here, which even Giribala Singh would have allegedly already taken care of or have removed. So this is a very difficult thing to recreate, and this is going to be a tough task for SIT to take care of, Ranjan.
Yeah, definitely. Shambhavi is with us, and Harsh is also with us, and Rakshita also continues to be with us. I would like to go to Rakshita now for a comment, because Rakshita, if I can come to you, let's be clear that there was clearly a cover-up in this case, and the administration and all those who were involved in the investigation, they believed that the repercussions will not be as severe. But if there is a Supreme Court judgment on this, whether it's about the autopsy or the bail that was given in this case, it will act as a benchmark, as a precedent for future cases for all the daughters who suffer the same fate. Rakshita?
Absolutely, and a deterrent example has to be set, and that's what the entire nation is looking up to today. All eyes and ears, of course, will be on this hearing, as we've seen that this. But we have to, of course, stick to what the matter has been listed as. This has been called alleged institutional bias, and procedural discrepancies in the unnatural death of a young girl at a matrimonial home. So yes, first of all, the entire investigation will be coming under investigation. We've seen from day one, Republic TV has been reporting this case, and how we've seen the police was dragging its feet to even register an FIR. It was after 48 hours that the FIR was registered. Why was the entire system, the law and order system in Bhopal, so scared that they did not, that a woman dies and there is no FIR that was registered? That was the first, of course, flag. That was one red flag that had been, in fact, identified. And then later on, we saw every single day Republic TV had uncovered each and every lapse. Back-to-back reports had been filed by Republic TV, and even the parents of Twisha Sharma had come on air on Republic TV, and they had pointed out how there was not even a lawyer who was ready to represent them. There was no lawyer, and today they have they have a good big team as far for representing them. The fact that they have they have been running pillar to post to register this case, to get a lawyer to fight this case, that this is a case of harassment and dowry death that has been finally, the case is being heard now. The husband, who is Samar Singh, who is himself a criminal lawyer, had been on the run. Who let him, in fact, be on the run? How did he abscond? Where was he? It will be, of course, now coming out in the questioning, we hope. But yes, there have been, this is a case that entire country has been shocked looking at the various lapses which we've been reporting time and again. Even the post-mortem report, we've seen that there was a lot of fight that was pushed, that was put out. Because of that, we finally see that a second post-mortem was held, because even the Madhya Pradesh government, first the Chief Minister was not even meeting. We saw that he did not have much of time, but there was mounting pressure. We've been raising those questions, not just to the Chief Minister, but also to the Honorable Supreme Court as well. If you remember, we Editor-in-Chief had been asking that this case is something that even the highest court should be taking cognizance of. Yes. And Twisha Sharma's father, as I mentioned earlier, had also written a letter to the CJI, to the Supreme Court, and mentioned that this case should be taken up, that these discrepancies and how the judicial system is being manipulated by those who are part of the very system, that also, of course, will be coming up. The way there is an entire call log that has been exposed. Republic TV had also, in fact, put it on record how the judges were contacted by Giribala Singh just hours after the death of her daughter-in-law, why the lawyers and the police officers, the IPS officers were contacted. This shows how the system has been letting down the family, and there could be so many victims, Shivam, who could be suffering this way. And that's why an example needs to be set up. And this is why we see that today this matter has reached the apex court of the country. And yes, 11 a.m. is when we expect that the hearing should begin.
All right, thank you, Rakshita. And this is a big day. Shivan and I, viewers, are going to be joined by reporters all across. A very good morning to you. It's a good morning because this case is being heard in the Supreme Court today. It's a good morning because the Jabalpur High Court might possibly cancel finally the bail of Giribala Singh. And it's a bright day because it's hope for Twisha. We're not saying that what's happened should have happened. In fact, we're saying it should never happen again. And that's why this case needs the prominence it has today. So viewers, as I go across to my reporters, let me tell you what's going to happen today. After 10 to 12 days of relentless campaign on Republic TV, this case is coming up no less but in the Supreme Court of India. The Chief Justice's court, courtroom number 1, exactly where Rakshita is standing right behind her under the dome, sits the law of the land, where the law of the land is decided, where history is made, where judgments are given that dowry deaths should not happen in India. I want to go to Jabalpur, where Harsh is joining us from. But viewers, I'll tell you, this case is item 48, around 11 to 11:30 it might come up in the Jabalpur High Court, where the top law officer of the country, Tushar Mehta, is going to be joining and asking for cancellation of Giribala bail. For her to be arrested today is going to come up at 2:30 p.m. in Jabalpur. Harsh, I want to go to you. What are the scenes you've seen in Jabalpur over the last few days? I've seen how you spoke and how Samarth's goons had attacked you. We are shocked, viewers, because this is not just an influential retired judge. This is an entire system that seemed to have been campaigning for Giribala and for Samarth. Samarth, when he was in courtroom number 32, apparently in the district court where Harsh had seen him for the first time, he was masked, sitting in an air-conditioned room. Nobody was handcuffing him. Nobody was telling him to surrender. So what is happening today at Jabalpur? What are the scenes around you, Harsh?
Oh, very rightly pointed out, Rhythm. In fact, a matter to be heard at the Supreme Court as well as later at the Jabalpur High Court today, where the bench in Jabalpur High Court will be hearing a petition that is now demanding the cancellation of the anticipatory bail that has been given to Giribala Singh. Now, as you also talked with me about the scenario at the Sessions Court in Jabalpur when we spotted Samarth Singh first time there. Remember, he was absconding for nearly 10 days before he finally decided to emerge at a Sessions Court in Jabalpur that was not even written in the official ruling by the Jabalpur High Court. We had a very heated confrontation with him. In fact, teams of Republic were dragged out, were manhandled. We were abused when we tried to ask questions to Samarth Singh, and he was absconding. Now, as the special investigation team also investigate in this regard, we are being told that he was traveling to Sihor and Jabalpur when he was absconding from Bhopal. And now these places are nearly Jabalpur is approximately 315 kilometers away from Bhopal. Meanwhile, Sihor is approximately 50 kilometers away from Bhopal. So in all likelihood, he was traveling across the state and he was not being caught. He was being shielded by some people who also in fact tried to attack us when we went on to question him when he was found finally in the Sessions Court in Jabalpur. And now, just in a short while from now, we are expected to hear the Jabalpur bench of the Madhya Pradesh High Court, in fact, that will be hearing the cancellation of the bail, in fact, the anticipatory bail that has been given to Giribala Singh by a Sessions Court in Bhopal. This is expected at 2:30 p.m. where Solicitor General Tushar Mehta, joined by the Advocate General representing the government of Madhya Pradesh, Prashant Singh, will be demanding the cancellation of the anticipatory bail that has been given to Giribala Singh. Definitely a big win for Twisha Sharma's family.
There is some breaking news that's coming from the Supreme Court as we are speaking. I'm going to also tell you, viewers, that item number 48 is this item where Rakshita is reporting from. And Rakshita, we've just been given the breaking news that the Solicitor General of India, the top law officer of the country, Tushar Mehta, is currently in the Supreme Court, present on himself physically present there. He's having a discussion with some uniformed police officers there, So viewers, breaking right here today, we're giving you the entire deployment where Harsh is joining us from, and now in the Supreme Court, if we can have that breaking news coming in, the only channel to be knowing what's happening inside the court, even before the courtroom has sat. We're telling you right now, the top law officer of the country, Tushar Mehta, Solicitor General, country's heavyweight, is already present inside the courtroom. And this clearly, Rakshita, means that the government is giving its all push. Whether it's the MP government that he's representing or whether it is him being present there, it's very serious, and it really is important to understand that Tushar Mehta, the Solicitor General, and we'll put out pictures of the Solicitor General also, is present currently in courtroom number 1, where this case is about to begin in some time. Even before that, he's present there. This clearly shows the seriousness and the impact of this case, Rakshita.
Absolutely. The so-called media trial, as everybody talks about, has had an impact, and not just one. There have been multiple impacts that we've been reporting also, and we've been showing it's for the entire nation to see. And today the matter has reached from Bhopal, from Jabalpur to Bhopal, and now the national capital, the topmost court of the country, as you rightly had shared the information rhythm on on the Solicitor General of India, Tushar Mehta, that he is a part of this investigation. We're just getting this information that the police officer is from Madhya Pradesh Police, and he is reportedly, as your sources are also telling you, that he's in touch with them, he's interacting with them right now, just ahead of the hearing, just as the bench is going to assemble. This is what we are learning right now. And yes, talking about the impact, it's something that we have been demanding. The nation has been wanting to know what's really going behind. The investigation is something that has been, there have been a lot of lapses. The autopsy itself has been reportedly botched up, and all those lapses one by one have been coming to the fore. And most importantly, the court in Jabalpur that is going to hear Giribala's case, the anticipatory, the police seeking cancellation of Giribala's bail is also very, very important, because someone who has been part of the judiciary, someone who is a judge, can get away from the investigation. Being one of the key accused in this matter is obviously what shook the nation, what in fact raised many questions, that how somebody who has been a judge can just get away. That has been, of course, the biggest questions that are being raised. I think I've lost the connection, but I think we have some more breaking news rhythm.
All right, we're also joined, Rakshita, by our guests. We've got Shubrashta, who's going to be speaking on this. We've also got Harsh, who's currently with us, and Shamvi also with us. Shubrashta, the only question here, I'm looking through all the WhatsApp chats, and I actually had to ask the family what was happening when these WhatsApp chats were being given out. On 7th of May, Shubrashta, she's telling her father, Papa se naak ragwa kar maafi mangwana chahta hai. This is what she said on Saturday. And then she said, मुझे यहाँ से ले जाओ, मेरा दम घुटता है, मुझे नहीं समझ आ रहा मम्मी मैं क्या करूँ, पर मैंने इतना बुरा कर्म किया है कि मैं यहाँ हूँ, ऐसा लगता है बहुत अकेली हूँ. It's very clear it was systematically being done, Shubhrashta, to break her spirit. She even went back, but they called her back, promising there will be a change. These chameleons who believed like VIP influential people, they would rule Madhya Pradesh, today being brought to the law of the book.
Firstly, Rhythm, kudos to Republic. And I'm really thankful to the Republic Media channel that you actually took it up as a voice of an activist who is out there for gender justice. And I think you guys really deserve a standing ovation for what you have done. I just hope that the case goes through the Supreme Court and justice is brought to this matter. Of course, it's clear that the family that she walked into was an extremely cruel, manipulative, extremely patriarchal and misogynistic family. There are no two doubts about that. But Rhythm, I have always consistently maintained that these are cases where we as women, women as professional women, as married women, as women who are, trying to carve our own niche in our own individual ways, this is also a moment to push the conversation beyond, blame game. Twisha is no more. It's a sad day for all of us. It will continue to be, a sad day whenever we discuss this case anymore, because she's not here to give her version of the story. We need to retrieve, Twisha from the WhatsApp conversations that we've had, or the kind of reels that are, being used for shamelessly, being used for engagement farming by, social media, some social media channels. The point of the matter is this, that Twisha still chose to continue living with the family despite knowing that nobody is out there to support her. The fact of the matter also is, Rhythm, that Twisha was not an uneducated woman without a voice. She had a voice. We all know from her friends, from everybody, that everybody is in a state of shock as to how could she do that. So this is a message for all those women who are suffering silently in their marriages, who are waiting for somebody to come and take the stand. Nobody does. This world owes nobody nothing. This is a very cruel world. Women have to take stand for themselves,
since we did
or
breaking news
they
minute,
all will become
I'm
talking
sorry,
points.
Shubhrashtra, I'm just going to cut you for a minute as I'm getting breaking news from my colleague, and I'm going to come back to you and Mrinali Deshmukh, who are also with us. Viewers, the breaking news that's coming in, and we're going to go straight across to that Samarth's cousin Swaraj is one of those identified from the CCTV. What are the details you are picking up, Shambhavi?
Well, the CCTV footage that we saw of first the Twisha Sharma going upstairs to the in-house gym, and then with a headphone in her hand, and then just a few moments later she was brought down like a sack of potato by 3 people. So the first person is Samarth Singh, the accused husband. The second person is Swaraj Singh, which is Samarth Singh's cousin, who's also associated with Congress party. And the third is a domestic helper. So there are 3 helpers here in Girbala Singh's house. So the helper was one of them. All these people have already gotten their statements recorded. And because this was a huge question mark, that who were these 2 other people apart from Samarth Singh, who were bringing Twisha Sharma downstairs and were also attempting CPR right in front of the CCTV camera. Very convenient positioning, by the way. So now their statements have been recorded. So
Okay, so I'm just going to go across, viewers. We're going to go into a quick break. On the other side, the marathon hearing in the Twisha case in the top court is going to continue. Back with that and much more.
थोड़े में ज्यादा स्वाद यही तो है इसकी खास बात। वाओ मामा, क्या स्वाद है? अरे मेरे राजा,
AU सेविंग्स अकाउंट में मिलते हैं अमेजिंग बेनिफिट्स, पेपरलेस बैंकिंग एंड हायर इंटरेस्ट, वो भी हर महीने।
मनी 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 एवरी मंथ। सोच बदलो और बैंक भी।
चमकी चाट से क्या बना है?
सैंडविच, लस्सी और छाछ।
हर घूंट में चमकी चाट, ड्राई फ्रूट और दही बड़े।
चमकी चाट से स्वाद बढ़े।
असली स्वाद सिर्फ चमकी चाट।
I want to start with some very disturbing pictures that have come in of a so-called right-wing leader. His name is Sushil Prajapati. He's accused of rape. After being in jail for 9 months, he gets bail, which means he's still an accused. He's an accused in a rape case. And the case goes back to 2025 when he took an LLB student to one place on the pretext of introducing her to a senior advocate. He drugged her drink and then he sexually assaulted her. He is still under trial for rape. He has not been released. But when he comes out, this rape accused, garlands are put on him as if he's some kind of a hero, as if he's achieved something great. Is a rapist to be celebrated, ladies and gentlemen? I ask you that question. And more than anyone else, I ask the right wing.
All right, viewers, stand by for the key hearing because Supreme Court has taken suo motu cognizance of the matter, that is the Twisha death case. Coming up next.
Our pure Shahi Paneer Masala. Delicious, healthy, every day.
केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ रे दिल झूमे देखो मतवारा हुआ रे केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ
हर पल मनाओ केसरी त्योहार। विमल, बोलो जुबान केसरी।
चमकी चाट से क्या बना है? आलू चाट या फ्रूट चाट, स्वाद बनाए चमकी चाट।
क्या बात है? स्वादिष्ट पकोड़े और परेशान, अरे चमकी चाट है इसकी जान।
असली स्वाद सिर्फ चंकी चाट।
In fact, very often I believe the only way to get justice in India is a media trial. So there's no reason for the media, if it's doing a good job of a media trial, to be on the back foot. In fact, the courts should stop making these overarching remarks about media trial and contemplate.
Stand by. On it.
All right, viewers, we start with the big breaking news coming in that the Twisha case will be taken up first in the Supreme Court. The very first hearing, the very first case to be taken up by the bench led by the Chief Justice of India will be the Twisha Sharma death case, the alleged discrepancies that have been reported. Viewers, this is the suo motu hearing that will be taking place where I'm reporting from inside the Supreme Court. The Advocate General, Mr. Prashant Singh, has joined. Prashant Singh, Advocate General, is joining virtually this hearing, and we also know that the Solicitor General Tushar Mehta is also inside. He has been speaking with the police officer from Madhya Pradesh who was part of the SIT team, and that's the big update we have right now. The nation is looking up to this court today, the Supreme Court today. This is the case that we've been in fact reporting from day one, and exposing all the lapses, raising the questions that who nobody is. And today this matter is being taken up in the highest court of India. And yes, this is the update we're getting in right now. The three-judge bench, this is led by the Chief Justice of India, is going to hear this matter. And this is the first case that will be joining the case. And in fact, Twisha's father is also joining joining from a video call. What we understand is that's the breaking news we have right now. Solicitor General speaking to the law officer, and matter to be taken up first is the information we are getting in from the Supreme Court.
All right, viewers, we are getting a big breaking news now. Supreme Court to hear Twisha's death case, and the matter will be taken up, the first matter in this case. Big breaking news development that we are getting right now. Twisha's case in Supreme Court in any time now. This is completely Republic Impact, the Republic campaign, and we have been following the story from day one, and the family is one step closer towards getting justice for their daughter. And also, we are getting the latest updates in this case. Stand by the Supreme Court to hear the Twisha's case very shortly. And also, Twisha's father has also joined the video call in this case. A big breaking news development. The SG is speaking to law officer. All right, Rakshita continues to be with us from outside the Supreme Court. Rakshita, what's the latest that you are fetching in this case? Rakshita.
Yes, just as you mentioned, and we broke the story first here on Republic TV, that the court is going to take up the matter first, and Rhythm also has been getting us each and every detail from inside the court. As Solicitor General Tushar Mehta is in the court, and any time now we are going to see the matter being heard in the court. What we understand is that Twisha Sharma's father will be keeping his camera closed in this entire hearing, because only those who are part of this process, the only only the lawyers who are representing will be part of this case. So yes, there is a lot to be. It will be very important to hear what the judges have to say. Let me just repeat once again what is the latest update. Prashant Singh, the Advocate General, is joining via video call in the matter, and Solicitor General Tushar Mehta is inside the court. Matter will be taken up first, and what I gather is that this Republic TV has each and every detail was happening inside. Police officers from the SIT team from Madhya Pradesh is what we know, and court C1. The sequence is also listed in the matter. And the first matter is Twisha Sharma's case, the alleged discrepancies in this investigation, how there has been influence by Giribala Singh that has been allegedly been
in the top
used.
court of the country. I'm just going to interrupt you for a minute. Right behind Rakshita, viewers, the dome under which courtroom number 1 is. Courtroom number 1, to hear this matter, we've just come to know the Solicitor General Tushar Mehta is present in the courtroom. He had a word with certain police officials. They are from the Madhya Pradesh cadre. They are from Madhya Pradesh Police. And we're also being told that the counsels who appear for Twisha have reached the courtroom. It's Anurag Srivastav, Abhijit.
Yeah, and also useful to mention here that today there are 2 hearings in which Solicitor General Tushar Mehta will be present. The first is this particular case where suo moto, the Supreme Court of India is picking up the case of Twisha. And this is a very important matter because there was obviously a lot of pressure, and I'd like to place on record, on several occasions over the last 1 week, we have ourselves been saying, Rhythm, that it is extremely important for the Supreme Court to step into the matter to bring in, once again, a sense of faith and integrity in the judiciary. Here we have a live link. Can we use the live link here? Rhythm, now we have a live link of the proceedings in the Supreme Court. This is an important matter. The registrar has not said you cannot use it. So obviously this is important. And in public interest, it is very important to hear every single word that the Supreme Court utters in this case today. So should we cut across to the Supreme Court for a bit to see what's happening, full frame perhaps? Let's go, let's hear, let's see what's happening. Can we raise the audio? Can we raise the audio, please?
The 3-member bench is all that's presiding over this case, already present in the
You don't need to
Court.
yeah.
We're seeing they're already present inside the Supreme Court as we are speaking. And
can we take the right screen, please? All right. Can we have the audio up, please, to hear?
Next week, because the CEC report is already there, formal approval is required. It's a 6-lane highway, it's a 4-lane highway, double tracking.
Lord, just give us room. I'm in the same matter, your lordships.
My lords,
I'm mentioning a fresh matter, my lords, in which notice is yet to be issued. It was listed in March, my lords. And then your lordships are directed it to be listed on 15th, my lords.
Out of the link out there, Rhythm and I can be put back on screen. The windows can be made quickly by the PCR without having to be prompted on it. Now, ladies and gentlemen, the Supreme Court intervention.
Yes.
The Supreme Court, yeah, we can make the right windows quickly. Shouldn't take so long. The Supreme Court windows, ladies and gentlemen, is important because the Supreme Court is coming in suo moto, which means on its own. Now, the court registers this case as suo moto on the 23rd of May, that's day before yesterday.
Yes.
And that is a time when the case peaks. And that is a time when several appeals have been made to the Supreme Court to come in suo moto. Remember, ladies and gentlemen, the Supreme Court of India doesn't step into every case. It wants the appellate courts to deal with it. It wants the trial courts to deal with it. And the Supreme Court does not step into simple cases which come every single day. In fact, even in the case of dowry deaths, the Supreme Court do not step in. Why has the Supreme Court stepped in this case? The Supreme Court has stepped in this case because the prime accused is an ex-judge. And the Supreme Court is fully aware that justice must not just be done, it must be seen to be done. The Supreme Court is stepping in because it is fully aware that the retired judge used her position